lifted his heel, but the answer comes in the negative. 27 to Rutherford, 28 to Haynes. Rutherford 27 off 13 balls, Haynes 28 off 18. So terrific stuff from these two. As Sanderson comes in again, bowls and forces Rutherford once again onto the defensive. He dabs it out onto the offside. It goes to Graham White at backward point, and they pick up a single. Hastily run single, but one more on the total. 58 for no wicket, with 28 apiece to the two batsmen. You've obviously coached him well, Frank. Jack Haynes.
No, I think his dad's done most of the work. I might have got him. I might have taught him out of a pint or two.
Go on, take a bit of credit. Here's Ben Sanderson running in again to bowl this time to Jack Haynes, who immediately gives himself some room, cracks that, and he's caught.
You got him.
He's caught at extra cover. It was a shortish ball. He's looking to flat bat it away through extra cover, but it went low to the fielder there, but extra. Paul Sterling took the catch, good low catch, and Haynes is on his way for 28, and Worcestershire in the 6th over, so the last over of the power play have lost their first wicket. They're 58 for 1. And that'll be a relief, I would imagine, Trish, for Northamptonshire after taking a serious hammering in the last couple of overs.
Yeah, he looked in good touch there as well. A little bit good catch. I think that was really good. It sort of seemed to go away from him a little bit, so that was a good catch to remove him.
Yeah, it was low. It was certainly missable, and
it was dying on him, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a good catch.
Paul Sterling hung on to it, so the first wicket goes down with a total on 58 in the 6th over, and players taking the opportunity to have their sanitisation break. The tabarded 12th men that come on with the bottles of drink and sanitiser and various other important items. Jake Libby has replaced Jack Haynes at the crease, so the details of Haynes' innings: he faced 19 balls and hit 4 fours, and once again created a very good impression in this form of the game. So Sanderson now with a new batsman to bowl at. His boundary riders, once again, he's got a third man and deep square, and he's in bowled. First ball to Libby, who's off the mark straight away with a clever shot, nicely weighted, turned away through mid-wicket and saved Zabe. The only fielder out of the boundary on the onside had to make a lot of ground, which he did, but they picked up an easy 2, so Libby's away, 2 to him, 60 for 1, Worcestershire. So they're going to be looking at 65, 66 possibly in the power play. Sanderson in again, bowls and forces Libby to play a defensive stroke. Haven't been too many of those of late, but he plays it back down the pitch. And Ben Sanderson fields, keeper standing up. Adam Rossington, the lights now having a real effect. The daylight's dying fairly rapidly, but it's very pleasant to be here commentating outside in shirt sleeve order in the middle of September. Frank's dressed for the beach. Very impressive. As Sanderson comes in again, bowls to Libby, who again is just tucked up by that one. That's a good ball from Sanderson. Good line, about 4th stump, just short of a length, and Libby plays it into the offside. It's another dot ball, so at the end of the power play, much better over for Northamptonshire, just 3 runs off it and a wicket, with Rutherford on 28, Libby on 2. Worcestershire at the end of 6 overs are 60 for 1, and Trish, good response from Ben Sanderson.
Yeah, we could have come out, Northampton could have come out of that a lot worse off, couldn't they? There's been a couple of really, really big overs. Played the ball that's been bowled at them. So, you know, we could have come out of that 70, 75 for 1. So that was a really good over from Ben Sanderson.
It was a good over. Josh Cobb coming back into the attack now with the field a lot more spread than when he bowled his first over, obviously, with the end of the power play, which will suit him. Right arm round the wicket, the lock breaks, comes in and bowls to Rutherford, pushes this one through. Rutherford swings at it, gets a bottom edge, goes down to short fine leg, and it's not fielded cleanly, but they still only get a single. So Rutherford loses the strike, moves on to 29, 61 for 1. Jake Libby, who's been a tremendous signing for Worcestershire this year, top run scorer, I think, in the group in the Bob Willis Trophy. and has also been pretty productive in T20 as well. Waits now as Cobb comes in and he cuts this one away behind square. He'll get 2, certainly. He might get 4. He does get 4. That's well placed, running away down there over a pretty quick outfield. And he goes to 6, and it's 65 for 1. I think I should just explain, when Rudder says I'm dressed for the beach, that I am wearing a perfectly respectable pair of shorts. Cobb comes in and bowls to Libby, who gets this one with a combination of bat and pad away on the leg side for a single. Pair of shorts, a t-shirt. Although when we were here for the Bob Willis Trophy game, was it Phil Shaw that came dressed for the beach, and it was so cold he has to borrow a blanket?
Phil Rowan, former assistant head coach. Yes.
To borrow a blanket as Cobb is into Rutherford, who drives out to extra cover and picks up a single. So the score ticking along now, but a good power play for Worcestershire, spoiled slightly by that 6th over that only went for 3, but nonetheless I think 60 off a power play is pretty good going. Libby giving himself room to this one from Cobb, which is a little bit short of the length, and just punches it up to long on for a single. So Rutherford 30 off 17 balls, Libby 8 off 6 so far. And the man out, Jack Haynes, who made 28 off 19, as this one is heaved away again on the leg side by Rutherford behind square, picks up a single, end of a very tidy over from Josh Cobb on that occasion, and Worcestershire, having won the toss, are 69 for 1 off 7.
It's just looking by way of comparison, Frank, the match here on Friday when Gloucestershire were here, they made 66 for 1 in the power play, went on to make 185, which was plenty. Northamptonshire finishing 35 runs short, so it's a pretty good start. It's not the same pitch, of course, about 2 across from where they played on Friday.
Gloucestershire have been the opposite of Worcestershire, haven't they, in this season? They've been excellent in white ball and weren't quite so good in red ball.
Well, Graham White is coming into the attack now to bowl his left arm spin. Possibly been, in terms of consistency, Northampton's best bowler in this competition so far this season. Some excellent returns, made some handy runs as well, and his White starts straight away right on the mark to Hamish Rutherford, who can just play that up to short mid-wicket. Josh Cobb, the captain himself, is just in there saving 1. He's got 3 men out on the leg side to the left-handed Rutherford, who tries to give himself a bit of room and cut. And he gets a single as it goes out to Ricardo Vasconcelos, coming in sweeping off the cover boundary. So 1 more to Rutherford, 32 to him, 70 for 1 Worcestershire. After winning the toss and choosing to bat first, they've lost Jack Haynes. Caught Sterling, bowled Sanderson for 28. That was 58 for 1 in the 6th. And as we were discussing a moment or two ago, 60 for 1 in the power play. Pretty good start. Whiten again, bowling round the wicket to the right-handed Libby, and Libby just playing that one back down the pitch. And White himself fields. Graham White now, 33, plays exclusively white ball cricket. And he was talking to us earlier in the season. He said he's had a very long wait to actually do anything this year. And that ball again is a dot ball, as Libby trying to open up the offside, giving himself a bit of room, and played it sweetly enough, but straight to the man, Cobb again, in that short extra cover position. And again, it's no run. Just 1 run off the first 4 balls as White bowls. Libby goes aerial this time, just spears it over point. In fact, he's going to come back for 2. That's very good running. Thought it should only probably have been 1 as it headed out towards the cover boundary. Alex Wakely had a bit of ground to make up, and they did manage to come through. Libby running very hard for the second. He goes up to 10, 72 for 1. So that's a good bit of cricket by Worcestershire. White in again, bowls, and Libby's going to get a single this time. He just plays it up to Vasconcelos, who has to come in off the mid-wicket boundary. Single to him, but again, only 4 runs off Graham White's first over. 32 to Rutherford, 11 to Libby, 73 for 1. And Trish, I think it's fair to say that Graham White's been probably the standout bowler as far as Northamptonshire are concerned this year, across the whole of the case. Nathan Buck's had some good spells, but game in, game out, Graham White's been outstanding.
Yeah, I think the one that you sort of throw the ball to and you know you're going to get 3 or 4 strong overs out of him. Everyone else is chipped in at times, but he's definitely been the person that you can rely upon. He might not always take loads and loads of wickets, but he goes and bowls over like he did there and puts the pressure back on Worcestershire.
Consistency, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's the point.
And it's about bowling in partnerships, isn't it? You know, bowling as a group and saying, all right, it doesn't matter that I don't get wickets, but I'm going to put that pressure on the batsman, and then the other teammates can take the wickets.
Nathan Buck coming back into the attack at this pavilion end. It's more. I suppose. I know what you mean about bowling in partnerships. In this format, it's kind of more like bowling in a bunch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not really in a partnership for very long. There's so many bowling changes, aren't there? There's Nathan Buck in, bowls to Libby, who's cramped for room, but still manages to ease it away on the onside upish, but there's no fielder inside the circle on the leg side, so he gets a single. And he moves on to 12, and the total to 74 for 1. There's no hiding place for the batsman with this scoreboard, is there? Because after you score, it shows how many balls you've faced. So you can't really... You're constantly reminded, aren't you, if you're slipping behind the rate a little bit, or you're not trying to... You've got to score a run a ball at least, haven't you, really, in the top 6 in T20 cricket. And if you're not, you're constantly reminded by this board. Buck into the left-handed Rutherford, who gets in a right mess with this one. Initially looking to give himself room, then Buck sort of followed him, I think, and he ended up just jabbing the bat at it and lobbed it up on the offside. It would have been a catch to a silly mid-off, but I've never seen a silly mid-off in T20 cricket. 74 for 1. Rutherford on 32. He's played a couple of magnificent shots for 6, but equally on a few occasions like that one, he's got himself a little bit in a tangle. Here's Buck again. Into Rutherford, bowls, and this one Rutherford does get into a better position and pulls it away on the leg side. He picks up 2 down to deep backward square leg. Good running again. Total goes up to 76 for 1. Worcestershire having lost Jack Haynes, who played very well in a partnership of 58 for the first wicket. Hit 4 fours off 19 balls before he was well caught by the diving Sterling. Extra cover off Sanderson. Nathan Buck in once more to the left-handed New Zealander, Hamish Rutherford. Gives him room this time, and you don't give Hamish Rutherford room like that outside off stump. He's also a little bit short, and like a lot of left-handers, he's very strong there, and he just flashed that away, and it raced down to the boundary just behind square on the offside. So loose delivery from Buck, and as is often the case in this form of cricket, it got the full treatment.
And Faith's a cracking fielder, and he didn't even have a chance to move there, did he? It was at the boundary before you knew it.
Yeah, absolutely. 80 for 1, Worcestershire. The light's really taking effect now on this September evening at Wantage Road as Buck is in and bowls, and Rutherford's heaved this one away on the leg side, and he's got more. 1 bounce 4. Wasn't far short of the fielder down there. Is it Graham White?
It is Graham White, yeah.
Bounced away from him, but he had no chance. He picked it up pretty well, and having got himself into a tangle on that earlier delivery, he's played 2 magnificent shots, Rutherford, and he's raced on to 42 off just 24 balls. Exactly the sort of thing you want from your opener in T20 cricket. And Worcestershire 84 for 1 with 1 ball remaining in the 9th over. And putting down a platform, one would think, for a decent first innings score. Buck is in again and bowls to Rutherford. That's good delivery. And
a great reply.
Rutherford, I think at one stage looking to play a little sort of up and over the keeper, but in the end I think he just dropped his hands underneath it and allowed it to go through. So it was a good reply, as you quite rightly say, Trish. But at the end of that over, Worcestershire are 84 for 1 off 9, so 11 runs came from it. And I don't know, what do you reckon, Trish? Would you say it's even Steven? Would you say Worcestershire is slightly ahead? It's difficult to say, isn't it?
It is difficult to say. I think the pitch is playing fairly well. But I would probably say Worcestershire are on top slightly here. I think Northampton would have liked to have taken another couple of wickets by this stage. I don't think they're bowling particularly badly. I just think the pitch is playing nicely.
Graham White starting his second over, having conceded just 4 runs off his first, and that first delivery is played down behind square for a couple of runs by Jake Libby. Again, very quick through for the second. Brandon Glover was running out from in front of the signal box quickly to the ball, but Libby again running very hard to the danger end. He goes to 14, 86 for 1. At the start of the 10th over, White in again, bowling to Libby. He works that away on the onside. He's going to pick up a single as Ricardo Vasconcelos comes in off the mid-wicket boundary. One more run to Libby, who's 15, 87 for 1. Sitting down in front of us, Stephen Crook, who's big six under the second tier of the pavilion on finals day against Essex off Sean Tate in 2013. Is still remembered fondly by all the Fabster supporters. Well, me and one or two others. White in again, bowls to the left-handed Rutherford, who swings that one away towards the deep mid-wicket boundary. That's a super bit of fielding down there on the fence. That really is an excellent piece of fielding by Alex Wakely. Certainly saved a couple of runs. They come through for 2, but that looked as though, once again, it had 4 written all over it.
Brilliant to see. I hesitate to call him a veteran.
Oh, it's one of the senior members of the side.
Still got to do it, haven't you?
Absolutely. 44 to Rutherford, 89 for 1. White in again, bowls to him. There's an appeal for LBW as he looks to just run that down. But picks up a leg by as it dribbles down towards third man, and Richard Levy comes round to field. Rob Bailey saying not out very quickly and then signalling the leg by. So one more to the total, 90 for 1. But White, as he has done throughout this season in the T20, posing all sorts of questions for the batsman. Good variation, and as Trish said a few moments ago, consistency has been the key this year for him. White in bowls a very high sort of flighted full toss, and I think probably Libby will feel that he missed out on that, because he only got a single as he drove it out to extra cover, once again fielded by Alex Wakely. Picks up one more run, 16 to him, 91 for 1. He would have been hitting, I'm sure, I'm aiming to hit that a little bit straighter. Just didn't quite get all of it, and it went out to extra rather than through mid-off. White in again, bowls, and that's swept by Rutherford down to Paul Sterling, who's fielding a deep backward square in front of the main scoreboard. That ends the over with Rutherford on 45, Libby on 16. 8 runs off that one, and at the halfway stage, Worcestershire are 92 for 1. I did spot, Trish, that Safe Save was possibly having a little bit of a limber up. I wonder if they might try another spinner.
Yeah, I think obviously Josh Cobb went for a few, but, he bowled his first one.
Libby will feel that he missed out on that, because he only got a single as he drove it out to extra cover, once again fielded by Alex Wakely. Picks up one more run, 16 to him, 91 for 1. He would have been hitting, I'm sure, aiming to hit that a little bit straighter. Just didn't quite get all of it, and it went out to extra rather than through mid-off. White in again, bowls, and that's swept by Rutherford.
As Davis takes the ball again and turns and deploy weights, just trying to get his innings underway. He's moved the board on a couple of occasions in this over, and he moves it once again. 64 for 2 is the Derbyshire total at the end of the 10th over. I will make a hasty retreat because we've got a little bit of microphone swapping to do to let Kevin Howells in.
64 for 2 at the halfway stage. This is not a 140 wicket one feels. It's see what Kevin thinks when he manages to get himself established, but I feel it's a nearer 170 sort of wicket. That's tended to be the case here at the Fisher County Ground so far this season, so plenty of responsibility on Godleman and Dupluy's shoulders so far. Billy Godleman this season has had a terrible T20, to be quite honest. Came into this game having scored a total of 36 runs with a best of 17, so 23 off 27. In goes Ackerman, tosses one up onto the leg stump of Duploy, who waits for it and just turns it out towards deep mid-wicket. Aaron Lilly comes in, picks up, gets the throw away to Hill on the bounce, and the...
Did well to keep his face out of the way, so it ducked underneath it and took it above his head. It's a really good catch, and that ends the partnership of 41 for the second wicket between Libby and Rutherford. Worcestershire 99 for in the 11th.
That was a cracking catch. Not many times, did he? I think it might have stung those hands a bit.
Yeah. But, well, you know, this thing is
You can't knock them off your own bowling, can you?
It was an excellent catch. 99 for 2 is a good partnership. Maybe consider himself a little bit lucky, I think, that he gets gone for 16, made up 15 balls. And new batsman is Glenn Cox, who was promoted to number 4 in the order at Taunton last Friday, and justified that. An excellent unbeaten 50. And hopefully he can do something similar today. Not the sort of player who smashes it down the ground, as I was repeatedly saying on Friday, but the sort of player who proves via one or two inventive shots and a little ramp here and a sweep there that there's more than one way to score quickly in T20 cricket, even more than one way to find the boundary, and that tends to be Cox's way. T20 cricket, even more than one way to. Anyway, here we on strike against Zabe, the left arm spinner that will go round the wicket, proving once again, I suppose, that pace off is the way he picked up that wicket. Although it was with a fairly flattish delivery that he pushed through. And if he hit it well, I think if you're out like that, perhaps you can't criticise yourself too much. Can you save his in balls? Flighted. This one up to Cox, who just as a sighter pushes it out on the offside. This one up to Cox. And there's no run as the bowler does his own fielding. Change in the field for Cox, a man coming over from middle to short extra cover. Save. So Cox works it away on the leg side. The single. Fielding in a very tiny over despite having gone 6. Save Gloucestershire 102, so 8 off the over, 6 of those off. Pretty tidy otherwise, and he did pick up that small wicket. Graham White, I think, is poised at the end of his part to start his third over. I think he's bowled 2 overs for 11 so far. And just a consultation between bowler and captain, Josh Cobb. Cobb is just coming in to be the only fielder in the circle in front of square on the outside, coming into mid-wicket. Level 45-degree angle. Backward point, extra cover. Those are the 4 saving one in this circle. As he bowls to Cox, goes for a sweep, hits the top edge, clears around at 45. That's Richard Levy. Runs down to the top edge, down the backward square. Lover is round to cut it off. We pick up just a single. Cox is off the mark with that's one more. He was single in the first over, didn't he? So 2 and 101 for 2. Now the left-handed Rutherford. See him changing over. Just very careful with his position and the sweeper on the cover boundary as White comes in. To Rutherford, who works that one away just past the square leg umpire, Rob White. And Sanderson comes in off the boundary to field and he picks up another single. One more to the Kiwi. It's 53, 102 for 2. Worcestershire having lost Jack Haynes for 28, Jake Libby for 16, wicket apiece for Sanderson and Zabe. White in again around the wicket to Cox, who goes for the reverse sweep. Doesn't get a lot of it, just goes down to Ben Sanderson and short fine, and they pick up a single. Takes Cox to 3 and a total to 103 for 2, so 3 balls, 3 singles so far. And White once again running in towards us, and the Wilson's end finding at leg stump, and Rutherford giving himself a lot of room, playing the ball out to the man on the cover boundary. Graham White was placing so precisely, goes straight to him, so he got that bit right. Pick up just a single, 1 ball to Rutherford, 54 to him, 104 for 2. Worcestershire, this is the 12th over. Central group match. Live cricket on the BBC from Mortage Road this evening. White in again, bowls to Cox, who aims to whip that away through mid-wicket. Just gets it on the bottom of the bat and it skews out to the onside. They pick up a single as Adam Rossington has to run round from behind the stumps to complete the fielding. Got rid of a glove, so it's 5  5 balls, 5 singles, 105 for 2, 1 ball to go in the 12th over. And White, 1 ball to go in the 12th over, 104 for 2. Now Graham White has played 1 over, 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. 1 ball to go in the 12th over. 104 for 2. White in again, bowling to Rutherford, who takes a step back, spares that away over extra cover. He's going to pick up 4 for that. 4 good runs, beats the man out there on the cover boundary. Had to make a lot of ground. He timed that really well. Good execution, good bit of imagination, awareness of where the fielders were. And Rutherford picks another boundary. He's 58. And at the end of the 12th over, Gloucestershire 109 for 2.
I always think, Trish, there's more than one way to score quickly, isn't there? You know, if you're not a big hitter, you can pick up lots of twos, can't you, when the field's spread, and you know, you don't have to be whacking boundaries all the time to get 10 of those.
No, I was going to say about Libby, he wasn't in for a massive time, but he was so busy. You know, he was pushing those 1s into 2s, which puts pressure straight onto the fielders, isn't it? Because, you know, you're running around the boundary, you know that they're going to go for 2. So sometimes you can take your eye off the ball. So he was very, very busy between the wickets.
Anyway, Nathan Buck will continue. He's going to be bowling to Ben Cox. Cox is on 4. 109 for 2. I'd like to put an appeal out to Worcestershire listeners to get busy on Twitter, because everybody's retweeting your tweet, Tricia, and we haven't got any Worcestershire people tweeting at all. There's Nathan Buck, he's in goals to Cox wide down the leg side, signal wide as Rossington takes. So if you are listening and you're a Worcestershire supporter, tell us what you think of this good start that they've had. Andrew Rad is at Paul Man Rad, lowercase. I'm at Frank Watson 58, and Trish is at Trishy Hankins with capital T and a capital H. So do let us know if you're listening and what you're thinking. You might even be watching and listening to our commentary on a feed. I think Nathan Buck is in goals to Cox. That's a good delivery. It's wide and full and slow. And Cox gets it away from the ball, and I think he's been, well, it's a good shot. He's got a little bit lucky. I think Buck almost did exactly what he wanted to do there. It's that full wide Yorker, and it dipped a little bit, slightly slower ball as well. But Cox just put underneath it. I often say with Ben Cox, I think he's a pretty good hockey player. And he occasionally plays a shot where you see that bottom hand just come in and punch through it last minute.
I think for a split second, Graham White thought he was in business at that good point, didn't
I think he did, but it's 4 more to Cox's 8, 114 for 2. Buck's response, but he's in now and bowls, and this one's slower again, but short, and Cox pulls it round on the leg side.
That's great.
Great running again from Ben Cox. Soon he hit that he wanted to, and he ran that first one so quickly. Rutherford knew that Cox was looking going to danger, so he was able to go slowly and turn and look, and he saw Cox racing back to the second good, running.
Cox didn't even have to look, did he? He knew straight away.
He goes to 10, 116 for 2 in the 13th over. Nathan Buck is in goals to Cox. This time will just get one as he puts it away on the leg side, and the fleet-footed save team comes in from deep mid-wicket to do the fielding. So Cox 11 off 8 balls, Rutherford 58 off 34. Jack Haynes, who made 28 in a partnership of 58 for the first wicket with Rutherford, and Jake Libby, who made 16 in a partnership of 41 for the second wicket. Twitter's getting busy now. God, listen to that play. Come on, you pairs. Here's Nathan Buck into ball to Rutherford. He bowls, and Rutherford gives himself room again and slices this one away on the offside. Great stop again. Got inside it, full of length from Buck, and he just sliced it over cover point to 4. Knew exactly what he was doing. Excellent shot. And he's on good form tonight. Hamish Rutherford. He's promised quite a few times Gloucestershire this season without really going big, but it's just the sort of knock that Gloucestershire are hoping, will have been hoping that he will have produced, having joined them for this white ball campaign. Nathan Buck in again now to the left-handed Rutherford. Good slow ball, and it did deceive Rutherford, who picked his bat up high as if to play a really powerful shot, and then in the end had to just check it and could only block it away on the onside and didn't pick up. We got good bowling from Nathan Buck. Bowled really well here in the Bob Willis Trophy game, I remember, especially on that first morning in very helpful conditions, and he was seaming it around, and he accounted for both the Worcestershire openers in short order. Obviously a very different kettle of fish when it's a white ball and a white surface really compared to that one that was a little bit green. green. He's in now and bowls to Rutherford, and he's going to get his man here. I think he's flicked him away on the leg side, and he's caught a deep back of the square. And Nathan Buck delightedly punches the air in a sort of celebration of the wicket. Rutherford, head down, makes his way up. He's played really, really well. He's at 62, made up of 37 balls. And Worcestershire are 121 for 3. And, well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, Trish.
That was a fantastic knock. He's probably going to be disappointed because it probably wasn't the best of balls. Earlier in the over, they probably got one of his better balls than he went before. It's just the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? So I think he'll be disappointed because he probably felt that that deserved to get punished, but he just picked out Graham White on the boundary.
And he goes. Head straight. 62. The full details of the balls he faced, etc.
So 37 balls, 3 sixes, 6 fours.
37 balls, 3 sixes, one of which was the biggest I've seen this year. That is for certain.
I think the only person I've seen hit it as big as that in that direction was Roger Harper. In the course of a double century, made 234, I think, for Northamptonshire against Gloucestershire in the mid-80s, and he hit a couple of huge ones over there.
I was going to say, I don't know who that is.
Oh, yeah.
Is that bad?
We'll have a history lesson later, Trish. But it's going to be, instead of Graham White, ball 3 overs 20, save. He's going to go left arm spin from the Lynn Wilson indoor centre end. Bowls to Brett D'Oliveira, who's off the mark straight away, squeezing that one down to deep backward point, where it's fielded by Ben Sanderson on the run. So D'Oliveira is off the mark with a single, 122 for 3.
Got me out once, Roger Harper.
Did he really?
He did. Yeah.
I'm
very proud to be in that.
Sabin again, bowls to Ben Cox, who goes for the reverse sweep again. Doesn't get a lot of bat on it, but gets enough to get a single as it runs down towards the fielder at short third, who's Paul Sterling. So one more to Cox, who's on 12, 123 for 3. Save already back at his mark. Bowls to D'Oliveira, who drives that up to extra cover. And that's a dot ball. It's fielded by Alex Wakely just on the edge of the square. Sabin again. Bowls Cox once again, goes to the reverse sweep. Big appeal for LBW. It's running down towards the boundary. Paul Sterling is chasing it down towards the fence. Pull out to umpire Rob Bailey. They come back for 2. And the reason it's pull out is he hit it. There's no signal from umpire Bailey. So 2 more onto the total. 125 for 3. Sabin again, bowls to D'Oliveira, gives himself room, steps down the pitch, plays that away through backward point, and he's going to pick up an easy 2. As it goes down to Ben Sanderson once again, having to make quite a bit of ground from the front to the main scoreboard. 127 for 3. D'Oliveira is 5, Cox on 12. 3 men out so far. Haynes for 28, Libby for 16, Rutherford for that excellent 62 off 37 balls, dropped. Difficult chance for the keeper when he made 11 down the leg side of Brandon Glover. Sabin again bowls, and D'Oliveira pulls, but picks out the man on the bounce. Brandon Glover, deep backward square in front of the west stand. So he picks up a single, tidy over there from save, quick over as well. At the end of it, 7 runs off it. D'Oliveira 6, Cox 12, and Worcestershire 14 overs gone, 128 for 3.
Yeah, when I say Roger Harper got me out, I was playing for the Midlands Club Cricket Conference against the young West Indies at Stratford on Avon. They had George Harris, they had Courtney Walsh, they had a battery of quicks, and I got out to the off spinner.
They came here, it was about 82, wasn't it? They came over, and Roger was very popular.
Fantastic fielder. Do you remember what a great fielder?
He was described at one point as the most expensive 12th man on the county circuit. He was getting the Northampton side.
Graham White is bowling 2.
Oh, what?
Graham D'Oliveira. D'Oliveira drives it out on the offside. Half stop. Well, it's unfair to call it a half stop. It's actually a stop. That's extra cover by
Josh Cole.
I say half stop because he didn't hold on to it. He took enough pace off for the only to get a single. 129 for 3. Cox sweeps this next one and misses it, taken on the pad, runs out on the offside. There's no against 2, and Harper fielded it and threw the stumps down the striker's end before Gooch could get back in. Most incredible piece of fielding. He really was a magnificent cricketer. White in again, balls to D'Oliveira, who heaves this well. I think so. That's a good shot. He's bisected the fielders and gone on and deep mid wicket. Very cleverly placed by D'Oliveira. Kind of cross-batted slap really through the leg side. He moves into double figures. 11, 34 for 3. And White in again to him. Bowls, and he's down the pitch and just pushes this one up to long off for a single. And the score moves on to 135 for 3. D'Oliveira goes on to 12. We're in the 15th over, so 5 left after this. We're still be hoping for in excess of 180, I would have thought. That's what comes in again and bowls. This one is short to Cox, and he pulls it away, trying to repeat the shot that D'Oliveira played earlier. Doesn't quite get hold of it as well as D'Oliveira did. Consequently, a good bit of tag team fielding by Zabe and Wakely means that they only get 2. But nonetheless, a good over from a Worcestershire point of view. We had 9 runs coming from it, and after 15 overs, 137 for 3. What do you reckon, Trish? 180? 190?
In excess, I think. They've got plenty of wickets in the bank. But the problem is, obviously, if you lose loads of wickets, you put the pressure on the new batsmen coming. They're probably going to want these two to stick together for a little bit longer. They're being busy at the crease, aren't they? Don't want them to do, then get the odd boundary. So yeah, you've got to think 180, 190, I think, from here with the wickets that they've got in hand.
Zabe starting his third over, 2 overs, 1 for 15 so far, bowling to D'Oliveira. Plays that away up to mid-wicket, and they're able to come back for 2. It's not picked up cleanly. The boundary there by Alex Wakely. I think they probably would have got 2 anyway, to be honest. 2 more to D'Oliveira, 14 to him, 139 for 3. We're in the 16th over. And Zabe in again, bowls to D'Oliveira, comes down the pitch, drives that away through extra cover, and he's going to pick up 1. As Ben Sanderson comes in off the boundary in front of what used to be the bowls pavilion. Now the players' gym. 1 more to D'Oliveira, 15 to him, 140 for 3. Cut off for the end of the innings, 7:47, so we shouldn't have a problem on that score. Zabe bowls very full, and Cox going for the reverse sweep. There's an appeal, looking for a catch behind by Alan Rossington, but Zabe allowed by umpire Rob Bailey make contact, so to dot ball. Zabe, easy cricketer, already back to his mark, bowls once again. And Cox coming down the pitch, just plays that up to Graham White, long, just comes in about 10 yards off the boundary, anything but an easy single. So 1 more to Cox, 16 to him, 141 for 3. 2 balls to go in the 16th. Zabe bowling now, switching to round the wicket. Bowls to D'Oliveira, who gives himself room, cuts that away, and he's going to pick up a single. Once again, Ben Sanderson in business, coming in off the boundary, and cover. 1 more to D'Oliveira, 16 to him, 142 for 3. Birthday greeting after this delivery. That's all right with you. Some messages coming in, which are very nice to receive. Zabe in again, bowls to Cox, who plays that one away up to mid-wicket. When they think about coming back to 2, Wakely quickly off the boundary this time. Same mistake as he did earlier in the over, and this time he's quickly the ball sent to the good return. And although they thought about 2, they couldn't, so just the single. Cox is 17, D'Oliveira 16 at the end of 16th over. Worcestershire 143 for 3. I've had a message through to say that Alan Claridge, big supporter of Northamptonshire, has celebrated his birthday yesterday. He would love to have been at the game tonight, I'm sure thousands of people, but many happy returns for yesterday, Alan, and I hope you're enjoying our commentary of the game this evening. 16 overs gone, 143 for 3, 4 to go, and Frank reckons 180. That would be a pretty good score. As I say, it was interesting looking back at the last game here, just a few days ago. Gloucestershire made 185 for 6 in their 20, and as I say, it was plenty, but it wasn't. It was a different sort of pitch. This looks to be playing, as I think Trish made the point earlier, rather better than that one did. A little bit more pace in this one. That one was really very, very dead.
Cox into this one away on the leg side and is caught at Sanderson, I beg your pardon. Didn't quite get hold of it. Splice really as he tried to pull it away, and again a sign that that was just on him a little bit more quickly than he thought, which confirms what he said about Glover. He's got some pace there, and just cramped Cox out, and he wasn't able to get the middle of the bat on it, just hit it slightly higher from the bat, and that went to the square leg and was caught 147 for 4.
I think Trish Northampton needed that wicket at just that moment. I think that's a timely one. They just needed to break that partnership, break that momentum, because these two were just starting to put together a handy little partnership.
Yeah, now it's pressure on the new bat. Obviously just try and get runs and put the runs on the board for when Northampton have to come out and chase. I think that last over put a little bit of pressure on, even though they got 4 off the first ball, you're still thinking about that. We need to get 180. Especially with the lineup that Northampton got.
Definitely. So Glover gets his man. Yeah, I think 180's a minimum really, and you might be hoping for more. Ross Whiteley is a new man. So Glover comes in to bowl to D'Oliveira. Bowls and D'Oliveira cuts down to third man. Picks up 1. In fact, comes back for 2. Good running, and it's all about football down there this time. Coming back for 2. The culprit is going to be named by Andrew. That's
Nathan Buck. My name, Nathan Buck.
I say named by Andrew because he had binoculars on him. It's quite a long way away from us stand. We're right at the back of the stand. It's a great view. I'm not complaining, but it is occasionally difficult to identify the players. You can't see the numbers that far away. 149 for 4, number 20. Glover moving in away from those goals. Short to D'Oliveira plays a great shot. Cross it back in. Pull, I suppose, over mid-on. A bit too straight, really, to call it a pull. Slap. It's a T20 shot. Anyway, it's gone to the boundary. It's a good shot from D'Oliveira. He's only a small man, but he just played that well. He knows exactly what he's doing. Plays it quite frequently, that shot. And it went to wideish, long on for 4. And he moves on to 22. He made off just 13 balls. And Worcestershire 153 for 4. I'm saying 180. Some teams would be looking for more. Ross White is a big hitter, but keeps coming in these situations. It's pretty thankless, isn't it? Just got to just get on with it. D'Oliveira tries a little uppercut to this one, which is well bowled, and he misses it. Goes through to the keeper. We were talking about this at Taunton the other day. Back in the days of the Sunday League, during the old days, I remember Phil Newport was used to bat about 7 or 8. Forgive me, Worcestershire listeners, if I said this the other night, you heard it then. But he used to say, when you go in with about 5 or 6 overs to go, you're just sacrificial lambs. And he said, we're the mint sauce boys. Sunday afternoon, of course, as well. And the mint sauce boys, I think Ross White has been a bit of a mint sauce boy in T20 cricket this season. He's the non-striker, yet to face a ball. As Glover comes in and bowls to D'Oliveira, that's wide down the leg side, and it's called wide by Rob White. Twitter's gone mad, it's great, I love this. Keep on coming, Worcestershire fan. Well, and Northampton, there's quite a few of those as well. At Old Man Rad, at Fishy Hankins, capital T, capital H, and I'm at Frank Watson 58 at Charlie Morris's dad on.
Hello, Charlie Morris's dad.
Charlie Morris's dad, lovely to hear from you. He said he's enjoying the commentary. Glover bowls to D'Oliveira, who plays that up to long on for a single. And he moves on to 23, and the total to 155 for 4, and he keeps the strike. So poor old mint sauce Ross Whiteley. There's only 3 overs to go, and he hasn't faced a ball yet. And if you're talking about somebody who I might have coached, he's probably the one I've coached the most.
Oh, right. Well,
because he went to the school where I run.
we should look for great things from Ross Whiteley.
Well, unfortunately, he's probably going to hold out first ballers now, isn't he?
So you're talking about how difficult it is, but we are, as you say, right at the back of the the stand, the old indoor school. It is a long way down to the bottom. On occasion, when Northampton Town was still playing football here, which they did, of course, until 1994, and some years before that, when they condemned the main football stand, we had to do football coverage from the cricket press box. And it was so far away that we had to employ a sort of Boy Scout runner to go and stand by the old duck board to the far side to see if there was any goalmouth action who had actually scored. Hampton Town against Oxford in the Milk Cup. Remember it well. Sort of a fresh over, and it's Ben Sanderson coming in, bowling the first ball of that over to Brett D'Oliveira, who plays it round the corner down to the backward square. Ricky Vasconcelos fields, and they pick up an easy single. D'Oliveira to 24. Good little knock by him, 24 off just 16 balls. And now the left-handed Ross Whiteley, with his mentor Frank Watson watching proudly from the conference.
I was there once when somebody said to him, so Frank taught you a lot, did he, Ross? And he said, well, they can only take me so far.
Diplomatically put. Well, let's just check the field that Sanderson's got. He's got on the boundary, deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, deep extra. Sanderson comes in and bowls to him. He drives that nicely up to mid off, long off rather, in textbook fashion where there's a fumble and what should have been a single. You're going to come through for two, and once again, I will name Nathan Buck as the guilty fielder. In the old days, you could make the excuse that it was bobbling on the football pitch, but you can't really do that as they haven't played there for 25 years. So, that's 2 runs to Ross Whiteley, who's away 158 for 4. A pleasing textbook stroke, straight out of the Frank Watson coaching manual.
I've really said
that. Sanderson in again, bowls to Whiteley, who plays that nicely up on the offside. This time just an easy single as it's fielded by Alex Wakely.
He is one of the few players in the world who's hit 6 sixes.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Didn't get that from me.
So single to Josh Cobb rather did the fielding there. 159 for 4. Whiteley on to 3. D'Oliveira 24. There are 15 balls remaining in the innings. And we're talking about 180 as a possible target. That's only 21 runs away. Sanderson in. Bowls to D'Oliveira. Looks to swing. Big appeal for OBW and he's out. He went down on one knee and looked to paddle that round the corner. Didn't come across the stumps. And it looked a good shout from up here. We're not dead in line, but not too far off. And Ben Sanderson appealing, and Rob Bailey agrees. So D'Oliveira is on his way for 24. LBW to Ben Sanderson. And Worcestershire 159 for 5. And Trish, once again, just as a little partnership might have been developing, and when D'Oliveira was just starting to flow, Northamptonshire have just managed to pinch the flow a little bit and pick up a handy wicket.
Yeah, I mean, we need to keep Northampton need to take wickets regularly now to put the pressure straight back onto the batsman. I think, a little bit of a misfield in the field can take the pressure off by them getting 2 when they should have only got 1. So to put that ball in the right area by Ben Sanderson to get that wicket, pressure straight back onto Worcestershire, because they will be thinking 180 plus.
Yeah, interesting choice of shot also, Frank. Did he actually need to try to be a little bit funky? Was it really necessary?
It's difficult, isn't it, to make criticisms at this stage. I think you've got Ed Barnard down there now, you'll see even more of that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was just the fact that he was playing so well, playing balls of conventional strokes.
Well, I keep referring to these club affairs. I'll tell you something about Brett D'Oliveira. Quite interesting with regard exactly to that sort of thing.
24 or 17 balls, it's Ed Barnard, Worcestershire captain, facing up to Ben Sanderson. Straight away, he finds his line and length, plays it to backward point, fielded by Paul Sterling, and there's no run. Handy dot ball.
Brett plays at the same club, and probably about 4 years ago, we were playing in a game, and he was batting, and he was on 49, and we needed about 70 to win, and we were cruising on with 4 or 5 wickets down, good partnership going, and he got out playing a reverse sweep.
Well, here's Sanderson in again, bowls to Barnard, who's off the mark, plays it to Paul Sterling at backward point. This time he does come through for a single, but that's a good over from Ben Sanderson, just 5 runs off it and a wicket, 18 gone. Worcestershire 160 for 5, with Ross Whiteley on 3 and then Barnard on 1.
Yeah, and at the end of the innings, at the end of the game, I think we won. And we were having a little debrief, and I just said to Brett, why did you do that? Why did you play that shot? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you're 49 not out, playing perfectly conventional shots all around the wicket, no problem, ticking along nicely. You play play a reverse sweep, you get out, what did you do? He said, I don't know. I haven't done it for a while. I think he's a bit more mature now than he was then, but I just think if you've got I never had those shots to play, so I don't know what it was like, but if you've got those shots, and everybody has these days, nearly everybody, I think you've got more options, if you've got more clubs in your bag, you've more clubs in your bag, so you don't perhaps know which one to use. Anyway, new over begins. Glover, who gets a wicket from a full-toss caught and mid-off. Ed Barnard looks hopefully to square leg umpire Rob Bailey, wondering if it might be called an oval high, but it wasn't. It was thigh high really, and he tried to give himself room and hit it over mid-off, didn't quite get hold of it, and he perishes in the cause in the 19th over, as you can do. Barnard goes 4-1 and is replaced by a real rookie, Darryl Mitchell.
Never heard of him.
Chairman of the PCA, opens the batting in red ball cricket. Had a really good season. He's got runs batting at 9 in the T20 this year, and not a bad chap to have coming in at this stage. But Barnard gone for 160 for 6 in the 19th. I think 180 is looking out of reach now.
Yeah, I think Northamptonshire have just had a good little 10 minutes there, haven't they? Picked up a couple of wickets, a couple of tidy overs.
Not a great delivery, to be fair.
It wasn't, no,
but
again, it's a wicket in the muck, isn't it?
Of course it is.
They're the worst, aren't they? Because as a batsman, you think that you should be scoring off those.
Yeah.
Sometimes you try. He probably, if you just waited a little bit longer, played it on the floor, but he saw it and thought, I've got to score off this.
Yeah. The pressure's on the batsman to score at this stage, and it does happen, doesn't it? You see it happen. I mean, sometimes the adrenaline carries it through, sometimes it doesn't. It's Glover bowling to Mitchell, who gets it back on this and just steers it down to third man. What I would expect with Darryl Mitchell is that there won't be any dots now. I think he'll try and just make sure they score off every ball, which is pretty sensible cricket, I think. 161 for 6. If they score off every ball, they're going to get 170 on 170, mid 170s. They've given themselves a chance. A lot will then depend on the top order, the first power play. I think we'll probably have a good idea at the end of that power play where this game's going. Ross Whiteley, 3 off 2 so far. This is what I mean, it's pretty thankless, isn't it, if you're Ross Whiteley. You're in the side to bat, and you come in and he's faced 2 balls, and there's only 10 left in the innings. Glover is in, bowls, and Whiteley drives beautifully straight up the ground, timed it well. They've taken one, but they won't get a second. Good fielding by
Graham White.
Very quick. Yeah, very quick, and throws right-handed in no balls left on. And they get a single. So Whiteley goes to 4, 162 6. Worcestershire having won the toss and chose to bat. It's been entertaining stuff. I've enjoyed it. I think Hamish Rutherford batted beautifully. There have been good contributions from Haynes and Cox and D'Oliveira, but at no stage have Northampton really lost control. So Glover comes in and bowls to Mitchell, who plays a short arm pull away on the leg side. Hits it well, keen for a second, but can't manage it. Good fielding again. Fielding pretty with the odd exceptional one name. He's probably had enough stick tonight, but no, the fielding generally has been pretty good, hasn't it? Save and White, outstanding, and not bad at all. Lovely scene, floodlights illuminating the arena as Glover comes in and bowls to Whiteley, who heaves a full toss away on the leg side, but again, only a single. So this over so far proving very useful for Brandon Glover.
He hit that too well, didn't he? He absolutely middled it. He just flew straight to the field, and there's only ever going to be one.
He bowled a couple of quite loose deliveries and got away with them, possibly because he's got a bit of pace. But anyway, 164 for 6 with 7 deliveries left. I think we're looking more like 170 than 180 now. Gloucestershire feel they've fallen a little bit short of what they might have done. Glover is into Mitchell, he bowls, and Mitchell just gets inside this, pushes around the offside, wants to sink, but Whiteley sends it back, and I think that's a statement of intent from Whiteley. He says, I'm going to take this last over and see if we can go big, because he is capable of doing that. Although, saying that, in the last game against the Birmingham Bears, the 19th over for Wolseley Whiteley. Didn't get a bat on a pair. 5 consecutive deliveries. Henry Brooks bowling, lowered his pace lots, and Whiteley was trying to swing and hit the boundary and wasn't able to do so. Anyway, 1 over left, 164 for 6. Mitchell had 2, and Whiteley on strike on the launch pad on 5.
And it's going to be Ben Sanderson to bowl the final over. 3 overs, 2 for 12 so far. So he's been certainly statistically the pick of the Northamptonshire bowlers. Picked up the wickets of Jack Haynes and Brett D'Oliveira. He's going to be bowling round the wicket to the left-handed Whiteley, and he's got a deep backward square, a deep mid-wicket, long off on the boundary, long on the boundary, and extra cover on the boundary. He bowls to Whiteley, who drives that up to the man at long on, and he's going to pick up just a single. Again, he hit it well, but hit it straight to the fielder. There's this grey white down there, and they're able to come through just for the 1. So Whiteley up to 6, and Darryl Mitchell takes strike, 165 for 6, 5 balls to go. It's noticeable, you talk about Darryl Mitchell and his value to this Worcestershire side. Certainly in the Monbullis Trophy match here, Northampton were absolutely delighted to see the back of him in each innings. You can see he can get a huge score in either innings, but he's still a very prized wicket in red ball cricket in particular. Such a great servant to Worcestershire and to county cricket generally. Sanderson comes in and bowls to him, and he scoops that away like a good one. He's gone down to the boundary, where it's fielded very well by Ricardo Vasconcelos in front of signal box, and they come through for 2. With Mitchell scampering to the danger end.
Yeah, he's highly respected by his fellow professionals, which is what happens when you become chairman of the PCA.
Yes, you're not going to blot your copybook there, are you? Good bit of fielding by Vasconcelos, picked it up well. 4 to Mitchell, 167 for 6, 4 balls to go. And mid-off now up in the ring as Sanderson bowls to Mitchell, who pulls, goes down towards the boundary of the wicket, and there's a despairing dive on the fence, which doesn't manage to stop the ball, and it goes away for 4, so a very handy boundary for Darryl Mitchell, who goes to 8, 171 for 6. Alex Wakely it was, down there, who gave it the full-length dive. Just couldn't quite get a hand to it. Vasconcelos was there to support, but it beat the dive and went for 4. So 7 runs off the first 3 balls of this final over, 171 for 6. Sanderson in again, bowling to Darryl Mitchell. Once again comes across his stumps, looks to drive up on the offside, just rather scuffs it, picks up a single, and it goes to extra cover on the edge of the circle. So Whiteley's got the strike back for the last 2 balls potentially. 172 for 6, Mitchell 9, Whiteley 6. Worcestershire talking about 180 as being a decent target to set. Well, 2 balls to go, 2 boundaries, and they'll get there exactly as the 3rd man comes up into the ring. That's Brandon Glover. So Sanderson, who's bowling round the wicket to the left-hander, has got to be precise with his line here. He is there. That's a very full length. It's dug out by Whiteley, and they're going to come back for 2 as he's running toward the danger end to the keeper's end. Well run. Decent bit of fielding again by Save coming in off the boundary.
It was all about the length, that was it.
Yeah, right up in the block hole, and he just dug it out. Got plenty of bat on it, but only managed to pick up 2. 174 for 6. Whiteley on 8, 1 ball to go, and Sanderson just taking a moment, runs in towards us, bowls to Whiteley, who drives straight back down over the bowler's head. He's going to beat the fielder down there, and that's a boundary to finish. So Worcestershire not too far short of that target that we were talking about. Beat Graham White running across from long off. And at the end of the Worcestershire innings, Ross Whiteley finishes not out 17, Darryl Mitchell is not out 9, and Worcestershire at the end of their 20 overs have posted 178 for 6. And Trish, I think they'd be reasonably happy with that.
I think, you know, Worcestershire had a couple of quiet overs, and 180 looked a bit of a distance away. away a couple of wickets, but that last over can change it again. You know, as soon as you say to Northampton, right, you've got to get 179, there's that pressure back on them. I think you've got to go at 9s and over.
Yeah, I think there's something about innings that for both sides to be reasonably content with. As I say, I think at one point when Hamish Rutherford was going, Worcestershire might even have had the sights on something closer to 200. Then as it was, I think Northamptonshire were hoping to keep it down perhaps to 170, and in the end somewhere in between. So it's going to be a cracking second half here at Montage Road, with Worcestershire having posted 178 to 6. Our listeners to BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. I'll return you back to the studio and Kevin Howells. And for listeners to BBC Radio Northampton and BBC Hereford Worcester, and online and on the stream, we shall keep going and just talk about that innings.
So just do the bowling.
Yeah, good idea.
So Josh Cobb 2 overs, no maidens, no wicket, 19. Sanderson 4 overs, no maidens, 2 wickets for 26. Brandon Glover 4 overs, no maidens, 2 wickets for 42. Nathan Buck 3 overs, no maidens, 1 wicket for 40. White 4 overs, no maidens, no wicket for 29. And Sage Dave 3 overs, no maidens, 1 wicket for 21. So nobody really suffering. You could say that Glover was a little bit expensive, but he also did pick up a couple of wickets. The highlight of the innings for me, probably the Rutherford 62 played really well.
Well, it's worth it for that.
6s and 7 4s.
Worth it for that enormous six, wasn't it? They're saying it's one of the biggest we've seen here for a while. Yeah, what was slightly surprising was Nathan Buck, who's been very, very tiny in the competition so far. Produced some excellent figures, particularly the game that springs to mind, the one at Edgbaston, the Glamorgan game, where he finished with 4 for 29, and he's made useful runs as well. But it's a bit costly this evening. Trish 3 overs for 40. Be a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, he will be massively disappointed as well. You know, it sometimes goes that way, doesn't it? You can go and have one of bowl the best that you normally do, and then the following game you just can't seem to get it right. He'll be disappointed. He'll also be disappointed with the way he fielded. But you know, lights take effect, pressure of the batsman running so well. But he's just got to kind of put it out of his mind a little bit, and if he's needed to bat, forget about that and just concentrate on that, and then discuss it afterwards and work out why he went for those runs.
Which I'm sure they will in the extensive debrief. And as we always say, Josh Cobb is one of the great dissectors of stats, isn't he? He loves a stat, and he takes the whole analysis thing very, very seriously. If you're just tuning into us, you're very, very welcome. If you're listening to BBC Radio Northampton or BBC Hereford Worcester, or online, or on the live stream, of course, on the Northamptonshire website. And you listen to me, Andrew Rath from BBC Radio Northampton, to Frank Watson from BBC Hereford Worcester, and also to Trish Hankins, captain of the Northamptonshire women's side for a few seasons now. And Trish, very appropriate you should be with us this evening, because this is Women's Cricket Month, isn't it?
It is, yes. Something that the ECB decided to launch just to try and grow sort of the game for the women and girls. So I work for the Northamptonshire Cricket Board, and we've been following all the different stories that have been happening in the county, and going back quite a few years to some of the stuff that some of the women's teams have achieved. So it's been good. It's been good to have a look back at some of the stuff that's got me going.
Everyone who follows cricket will be aware of the extraordinary circumstances that we've had this season, and with a truncated season and some competitions going ahead, others not. What's been the overall effect on women's cricket, do you think? I know there was concern at one time that it could be a fairly serious blow, even more so than to the men's, to the recreational game.
I think because of such a short season, there's so much cricket being tried to get fitted into such a short period that it was inevitable, with the amount of women playing compared to the amount of men, that some women weren't going to get as much cricket. If we take us as Northamptonshire, we haven't played any competitive cricket this year, just because of logistics. It was a logistical nightmare to try and organise some fixtures, with a number of our girls playing Pathway, a few of our girls involved in the new Rachel Hayhoe-Flynn competition, as well as some regional development stuff. So it's been frustrating in that side of things for me on a personal front, and all I've managed to play is 4 games of cricket up till this point, which normally I would have bowled 20, played 20 or so games, and the body isn't getting any younger, so and the body is definitely not as conditioned as it normally would be by this stage. So it's been a bit of a test. The Monday morning when I wake up after I've only bowled like 3 or 4 overs, it's been a real struggle. But I'm still enjoying it, and if anything, hopefully this cricket month will just get as many women and girls back involved with the game next year, and we can just try and sort of build on the success that's happened over the last few years.
It's fair to say that the 100 is something that obviously polarises opinion greatly. If you get sort of 2 or more cricket supporters together, you'll probably get an argument about it. But look at it from the women's point of view, and there's been an announcement on that from ECB today, I know. How important is it going to be to actually get that tournament played?
What I think is really good about the 100, as much as we can all debate about the pros and cons of the competition, I think the fact that it's being brought in line with the men is fantastic for those girls that are going to be involved, and also for the girls that are a little bit younger. They've got something to aspire to. They know that they can actually get paid to play cricket. Same with this new Rachel Halo-Flynn that's been named this year. That's fantastic. It's going to provide loads of opportunities for girls to be paid to play cricket, which in the past is not happened.
No, and I'm wondering, we're having this conversation actually earlier today, and I just wonder whether, in a sense, you could argue that in fact, the women's competition, for the reasons that you've outlined, that it does actually give up-and-coming women and girls players something to aspire to. It actually, and to have the new teams, the newly named teams, it actually makes more sense almost to have it as the women's competition. There's obviously a big argument about against men's competition is that because we all support our own counties and obviously in different teams, and you're sort of alienating some people who will just follow their counties and aren't really bothered about teams that are based 100 miles away. But it's slightly different for the women's game because there's not quite that tradition of certainly not professional county cricket. So maybe the 100 actually makes almost more sense as a women's competition.
Yeah, if we look at Northampton itself, we haven't always played at the highest standard. We're one of those teams that probably the standards we play in Division 3 isn't quite good enough, but that step up is probably too high. So then we lose a lot of our good players to these better counties. So then, it takes away. Whereas now, with these sort of competitions, like you said, people are more likely just to follow cricketers in general, so they don't mind following London Spirit, for instance, or anything like that. So I do think it's actually going to be good for the women's game. And yeah, I think people will just follow cricket in general rather than, like you said, stick to just following their county.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good that there has been some women's cricket played this year. It's very welcome, as I say. I think there's a lot of concern about the future of the women's game, and it's great that we're actually having some meaningful cricket played this year. Well, certainly some meaningful cricket here tonight at Wattage Road, where the lights are now on and it's just darkness surrounding us. And we're this oasis of light in the centre of Northampton, and here we're just about to watch the start of the Northamptonshire reply, leading 179 to win. Worcestershire's innings built around 62 from Hamish Rutherford on 37 balls, 3 sixes, 6 fours. Handy contributions from Jack Haynes, who made 28, Brett D'Oliveira 24, Ben Cox 20, and Ross Whiteley 17 not out at the end. And it's going to be Richard Levy and Paul Sterling opening up Northamptonshire, and Charlie Morris is going to bowl the first over for Worcestershire with the slip in place, and the boundary riders are going to be third man and at deep, in fact just it's not really mid-wicket, more as like deep square, but in front of square, just in front of the scoreboard. So here we go, 179 to win, and Charlie Morris running in to bowl the first ball to Levy, who drives only as far as mid-on, where it's fielded by Hamish Rutherford, and there's no run, so good start for Morris, who has a bit of previous when it comes to getting wickets with his first over, his first ball in fact.
Well, he should have had 2 at Taunton because he dropped a return catch off the second ball of the innings as well.
Off Papa Razam, that's a good scalp to claim. To claim the scalp of Richard Levy here as Morris bowls down the leg side. That's going to be a wide, called by umpire Rob White. So Northamptonshire off the mark. A run on the board in this first over.
I mentioned that Charlie Morris has done a tweet at Andrew. It was quite an interesting tweet because he said he was wondering what my opinion was, or our opinion was, about whether batting first had made a difference to Worcestershire after they about starting in the T20.
It's an interesting point. Morrison again. He bowls to Levy, who's hit high up on the thigh pad. It bounces to the keeper, and Ben Cox dives away to his right. It's a good take.
Yeah, I just wondered whether perhaps there's, maybe just a little bit less pressure when you bat first on the batter, if you're in a run chase. And certainly Worcestershire's better performances this season in this competition have come in these last few games when they batted first. So maybe Mr. Morris is right.
He may well be. Well, we shall see in the next hour and a bit. There's Morris. Idea that Charlie Morris didn't put up a hand to try and stop that. He would never have played the ukulele again. He hit that very hard, Richard Levy. Just stood and smashed it. Fast hands, very fast hands. So 4 to Levy, 5 for no wicket. Beautiful scene here at Warwickshire now with the lights on. It's just black all around us. Apart from the lights over in Kingsthorpe. There's Levy's beaten by Morris. Good ball, good reply. Just short of the length, and Levy looking to pull it.
Sorry, Andrew, I was going to say, while we're talking about Twitter, just get another blast in for the three of us. Andrew is at Oldmanrad, all lowercase. Trish is at Trishy Hankins with a capital T and a capital H, and I'm at Frank Watson 58. I do enjoy it. We get a bit of feedback, and had 1 or 2 people suggesting Worcestershire might go 190 odd or whatever. Do let us know what you think about how it's going.
Absolutely. Morrison bowls to Levy, who does pull this time. It goes down to the boundary, where one of the 2 boundary riders is located, just in front of square, and he picks up the single. It goes down there on the bounce. So 5 to Levy, 6 for no wicket. Paul Sterling about to face his first ball. Levy having already lasted longer than he did on Sunday. But he's got a good record against us. Well, he was out 4th ball on Sunday, LBW2. Prem Sisodia, the left arm spinner. And then Paul Sterling followed, stumped off the offie Andrew Salter in the next over. And things didn't get a lot better from then on. 98 all out. Different night, different surface, I think, more to the point, as Morris comes in and bowls. Sterling smashes that away through extra cover for 4. Wasn't a bad ball. A little bit short of a length. Charlie Morris kicking the ground in frustration, but there wasn't really an awful lot wrong with that. But Sterling, once again, the speed of his hands, which was the point of the innings that he played, the thing that will live with me of that innings he played at New Road at the start of the tournament. The speed of his hands through the ball was just astonishing. End of first over, and the Steelbacks are 10 for no wicket.
Well, they're 2 big, strong, powerful batters, these 2, aren't they? And Worcestershire got 10 off the first over as well, so on us even at this stage. But 2 big men, they're not going to be herring up and down between the wickets. They're going to be looking to hit boundaries, and in the power play, that's absolutely the thing to do. And they're not going to have to contend with spin either, because Dylan Pennington is going to take up the attack from the far end of the ground from us, the indoor cricket school end. He comes racing in there to ball to Levy. He bowls, and Levy just heaves him away on the leg side.
Play yourself in, Richard.
It's not pretty, but it's very effective, and I don't mean that rudely. I'm a big fan of Levy, as you know, Andrew, but he just walked into it and smashed it over mid-wicket.
We welcome back our listeners to BBC 5 Live Sports Extra. Rejoining the match. Northamptonshire chasing 179 to win. Andrew Rouse from BBC Radio Northampton, Frank Watson from Hereford Worcester, and Trish Hankins, Northamptonshire women's captain.
Pennington in again to bowl to Levy, and he's got 4 runs. Not middling this one, looking to heave it away on the leg side. I think he's inside edge. Looks so quick are those hands that we were talking about, that races away to the boundary before as well. And it's a baptism of fire here for Dylan Pennington, a young quick bowler. His first 2 balls hammered to the boundary by Levy, waded into the and that one just at bottom edge really, but his hands are so quick, raced away. It's a real test for the young quick bowler here. No margins for error whatsoever. Levy on 13 already. Pennington is in and bowls, and this one's 4 more. Short and heaved away on the leg side over square leg, backward square leg. Levy, well, he only knows one way to play, and well, in white ball cricket anyway, and it's highly entertaining and very damaging if you're the fielding side. If it comes off 22 without loss off just 9 deliveries of steel back.
Philip Pennington actually, of course, got him out in the match at New Road, the only wicket that the Rapids took that afternoon. Okay.
Here comes Pennington. Under a lot of pressure. He's in and bowls to Levy, and he drives, and he's nearly got him out again, but he's got 4 more runs. It's over mid-off. Barnard diving away. It's not gone for 4, it's only gone for 3. In fact, it's stopped just inside the road. Barnard diving high to his right, gulping, so it's almost like he tipped it over the bar.
That would have been absolutely fantastic, wouldn't it?
He's a brilliant fielder, but it's 3 more to Levy, 25 without loss. He's on 20 off 9. Barnard took a catch at Old Trafford last year in the T20, which I described on the commentary, and I stand by it as the best catch I've ever seen. Running around the boundary, diving full length, one-handed, in the rain. Anybody who watched the stream or heard the commentary will remember it, actually. It really was astonishing. But then, you see them so regularly these days, don't you, on TV and so on. Some just amazing catches these days. Pennington, relieved, perhaps, to be bowling to Sterling. Pretty dull, really, by the standards of this over. He just taps that one away for a single. So, Dylan Pennington under real pressure. He's conceded 16 runs in this over so far. It's only the second over of the innings. His first. And this is what these two can do, Levy and Sterling. They can put bowlers under a great deal of pressure. And I wonder if Ed Barnard is already thinking about pace off and getting a Darryl Mitchell over in, or perhaps a Brett Oliveira over. Pennington in to completely over bowls, and this one smashed back over the bowler's head by Levy, and that's 1 bounce for 4. In fact, it's 6, so gone by Ed Barnard. So it's a really, really expensive over, and Levy had a bit of a word with Pennington at the end of it over, but it was a very expensive one. 22 came from it, and after 2 overs, the steel backs, whose target is 179, are 32 without loss, and you wouldn't really want to be bowling, truthfully.
No, and realistically, that over wasn't that bad. I think, you went for, straight away, it was under pressure, he got hit for 2 4s. Levy just proved how he was going to play, because that ball wasn't a bad ball, and he only just got it over Barnard, didn't he? So, yes, it puts immediate pressure straight on to the youngster, and it is, I always say, it's a batter's game sometimes, isn't it?
Well, here's Charlie Morris. He's going to start the 3rd over. He's bowling to Paul Sterling. He's made 5 off 2 balls, rather overshadowed by Levy so far. Looks to pull that. He's clothed it and he's caught. And Sterling goes, and success for Charlie Morris. Hope Dad's listening, because he bowled that one just a little bit short of a length. Sterling looking to pull, caught it high up on the bat, just clothed it. Caught by Darryl Mitchell. Simple, straightforward catch at mid-wicket, and Worcestershire have their first success with the ball. Sterling is out for 5, and Northamptonshire are 32 for 1. And you just feel Paul Sterling, as I say, hasn't had a great last couple of games. He's missed out again here, Trish.
Yeah, I don't know quite. He sort of didn't get all the way into it, did he? I don't know whether he was stopping halfway through the shot, but he just didn't seem to go through. Those hands didn't come through the shot, and it's just unfortunate. He had a couple of really good overs there, got ahead of the pace, and taking that wicket could completely change it. But hopefully Levy stays confident. Cobb probably is in need of some runs. He hasn't scored too many through the competition.
No, he hasn't had a great competition with the bat so far. Certainly in the last couple of games since the resumption of the competition. He was out for a duck against Gloucestershire on Friday and made 11 in the debacle. Northamptonshire were bowled out for 98 at Sapphire Gardens on Sunday. So, yeah, you're absolutely right, in need of some runs. And more to the point, as far as he's concerned, Northamptonshire really in need of a win here to get their T20 campaign back on the rails after 2 successive defeats, and still targeting, they would hope, a home quarter-final. But a quarter-final, of course, is the
first priority. Slip in place as Morris running away from us, bowls to Josh Cobb, who's in behind that, pushes it out the offside. They go for a very quick single. And Richard Levy sprinting down there like a good one. Get through okay. Throw hits the stumps, but Levy was well home. So Cobb away straight away with a single, 33 for 1. I don't know if you heard, it happened in the previous game here when Richard Levy ran a 3, as he did in the previous over. There was a sort of certain amount of mirth from down below where the Northamptonshire team are changing because the two teams socially distanced, so in separate buildings, but every time Richard Levy runs a 3 there seems to be a certain amount of merriment. Can't think why. Morrison again, balls to Levy, who pulls, and he's going to pick up 4 runs. Not a particularly full-blooded stroke, it was a clever stroke, just picked his spot, paddled it rather than pulled it really, to beat the man, saving the one at 45 degrees on the onside, runs down to the boundary, and Levy already raced up to, 30? He's faced only 11 balls.
That's happens, isn't it? It's so fast, the actual speed of his bat through the sea is incredible, I think. So he even just gets a corner on it, just races away. I think it's very difficult to bowl it.
Yeah, it certainly is when he's on song. And Morris with that task at the moment as he comes in and bowls to Levy, falling, good ball, well disguised, slower ball. And Levy looking to give himself room and hit that over extra cover. In the end, just jams down on it. It runs down the pitch, and here we go. The first time of the innings, the first Richard Levy conference. He's a great one for coming down the pitch and having a chat.
If you were coaching the bowlers and they're going out to bowl against Richard Levy, I think you've got to really try and get into their heads a little bit. Tell them not to worry too much.
Morrison bowls to him, and he's gone aerial. That's a huge hit. That could in fact clear the sight screen. And it goes straight over the bowler's head and raps into the sight screen. And that's 6 to Richard Levy. And it wasn't a bad ball. It was possibly a tad full. But Levy just hitting through it, and now he wants tape for his bat.
But what I mean is, you've got to say to the bowlers, look, this is the way the guy plays. If he comes off, it's going to be painful, but you've just got to try and stick to your job, keep doing, stick to your plan, bowl the ball where you're trying to bowl it, and don't let it get to you, because it's so easy to just get sort of to panic really when he's batting like this.
Yeah, Levy onto 36 off 13 balls, 43 for 1. 1 ball to go in the third over, and that's speared away into the covers, but very well fielded in the covers down there by Ross Whiteley. And now, the tape's coming out for the Levy bat, end of the over, 3 gone, and just 11 off that one, and Northamptonshire 43 for 1 off 3, chasing 179.
Yeah, do you know what I mean, Trish? About that, would you say the same?
Yeah, I think Bill obviously would have discussed all these different matters before this game and worked out, what they like, what they don't like, and worked out some game plans. But I think it is about sticking to that sort of game plan, even if you are going back over your head, because that wasn't some of these balls that they're bowling. They're not that bad at delivery. It's just that Levy seems to be on one, and it's hitting through the line and hitting cleanly. You just got to stick to what you're doing. Don't try and change anything unless you start changing the field and discussing it with your captain, and obviously change the game plan slightly. Sometimes don't panic, and sometimes you just got to hold up their hands up and say, do you know what? He's batting really well. I mean, we're in the third over at that. It could all change, couldn't it?
But that's what this is why he's been recruited. Is he burst onto the international scene playing like this in South African cricket. I mean, this is what Richard Levy's all about, and it's very, very difficult to bowl against. And when you're Dylan Pennington, you're only in your second or third season in the game. It's even more difficult. Pat Brown is into the attack at the indoor cricket school, and he'll be running towards us to bowl to Josh Cobb. Pat Brown, who's been in the England white ball bubble this year for part of the time, a real star in the last 2 years for Gloucestershire in this competition. So they won it once and lost in the final last year. Brown is in, balls to Cobb, Cobb drives into the covers, gets a single. No, he doesn't get a single because Ed Barnard covers up behind Darryl Mitchell, half stopped him. Jake Libby, I think, half stopped him. And he doesn't get a run. Brown's variations are his major weapon. Variations of pace. Those legs That's his strength. Hasn't been perhaps at his best in this year's competition. He's in bowls, one's played back to the pitch. There's no run. When he bowled the last over at Taunton the other night, they needed 13 off the last over. Craig Overton hit the second ball for 6, having got a single off the first ball, so 7 off the first 2, 6 needed off the next 4, and Worcestershire won by 3 runs, so it was a really brilliant final over. But he's under a bit of pressure here, but he is bowling at the right man at the moment. It's Josh Cobb. It's not as destructive at the moment anyway as Richard Levy as Brown bowls, and Cobb pushes the third ball of the over back to the bowler. Again, there's no fun. It's soporific almost. After
The West Stand will be slow hand clapping. You've got your people in. Get on with it. Get some youngsters in.
We're saying that because Richard Levy is 36 off 14 at the moment. The man out is Sterling. Josh Cobb on 1. Waits now as Pat Brown moves in again. Towards us. And bowls to Cobb. Gets one down the leg side, which he tries to flick away off his hip. But quicker than Brown, taken by keeper Cobbs and umpire Rob Bailey signals a wide, because it was way down the leg side. Earlier today, if you are just joining us, Worcestershire, who won the toss and chose to bat, making 178 for 6 in their 20 overs, 92 at the halfway stage, so they may feel they fell a little bit short of what they might have achieved. Hamish Rutherford top scoring with 62, 44 for 1 in reply, as Brown is in again, bowled to Cobb, again down the leg side, and again a wide. So, slightly disappointing after 3 dot balls to start the over. Pat Brown following up with a couple of wides. We're halfway through the 4th over. 36 to Levy, as I say, off 14. He's been really at his explosive best tonight. And it is a shame that there's nobody here to see it. Well, I think the Northamptonshire fans will be watching the live stream and enjoying what they're watching. Here's Brown in again, bowls to Cobb, short. Cobb goes big on the leg side, that's 6. Yeah, 4 rows back into the plastic seats just to the left of the signal box in deep backward square. Cobb's first boundary, normal service is resumed, and the 50 is up 51 for 1 in the 4th Northants, so they're ahead of where Worcestershire were, even though Worcestershire themselves had a pretty explosive start from Hamish Rutherford. And Josh Cobb goes to 7, a change in the field as a man goes out on the leg side and a man comes in and become a boundary because we're still in the power play. Difficult times for the young Worcestershire attack. Pat Brown in once more bowls, and that's another big wide down the leg side. Doesn't appear to be particularly happy at the moment, Pat Brown. He started with 3 dots in this over, but since then we've had 3 wides and a 6. And it's a struggle for the young man and for the Worcestershire attack in general.
It just shows how much it can go from even in 1 over. You know, Josh Cobb would have been under pressure after his first 3, and then a couple of wide 6, and then the pressure just really.
Brown in again, bowls to Cobb. That is the slower bouncer. Almost deceived him. He just swung round on it and got to bottom edge and planted. Short fine leg where Charlie Morris did the thirding, and they got a single. Worcestershire desperately need to get Levy out, I think, if they're going to have any chance of defending this turtle. This is the sort of start that he can give a team. 179 the target, 53 for 1 as we approach the end of the 4th over. But as I say, I think that, they'll have sat down beforehand, the Worcestershire side, and said, we know what this chap's like. He can do this, but if he gives us a chance, we've got to take it. That's the thing, isn't it? He gives us a chance in over 6 or over 7. We've got to take it. Otherwise, he can take the game away from you. Brown's decided to go round the wicket to Levy, presumably to try and stop him from freeing his arms up outside the off stump, and it works. Because it's taken on the pad and it just runs away on the offside and it goes through for a leg 5, which unfortunately Worcestershire means that Levy keeps the strike. 54 for 1 at the end of the 4th over. And Levy on 36 off 15 balls, Cobb on 8 off 6. Allowed Sterling for 5.
This is actually Richard Levy's highest score in the T20 this season.
I could have predicted it would have come against us.
He made 35 against the Birmingham Bears here. That was 35 off 18 sixes and 2 fours to set up Northamptonshire to a winning total, and then he made 33 off 34 balls in that opening match against Worcestershire at New Road. And Dylan Pennington coming back into the attack to bowl his second over. The first one went for 22. Great run underneath us, bowls to Levy, who pulls that away, but he's only going to get a single as it goes on the bounce to the man at deep square, who didn't have to move really. And so a single to Levy, 37 to him, 55 for 1, and inevitably Richard Levy comes down the pitch for a chat. He is a great conversationalist, mid-wicket conversationalist in this side, and much easier to do a Zoom call, wouldn't it, probably, and get everybody on at once. But I've asked one or two of his teammates what he talks about in the middle, and they said not much really. Is it cricket? Oh, probably. Pennington and again bowls to Josh Cobb, who plays that nicely, just punches it away, square of the wicket on the offside. Of course, there's a man, Ross Whiteley, in front of the West Stand, so he gets just a single.
Great position to be in with Josh Cobb now, isn't it? Just you've got the man going at the other end like Levy, is all you've got to do is make sure you just get a bat on it and get a single.
Watch from the other end, 9 to him off 7 balls, 56 for 1. Northamptonshire in the 5th over, chasing 179 to win. And record what would be their 5th win of the campaign. As Pennington comes in again, bowls, and this is in the air to Levy, but he's going to get away with it as it ran down towards fine leg. Bounced in the end well in front of the fielder down there. They pick up just a single. So singles the order of the day in the over so far. 38 to Levy, 57 for 1, 38 off 17 balls. Another conversation, all of which is great for the cut-off point, which is what, 9:17 we're due to finish, so 55 more minutes to my watch. Pennington in again. We're bowling this time to Cobb, who's in behind that good ball. Dylan Pennington well bowled. Good line, good length. And all Cobb could do was just play it defensively back down the pitch. And Richard Levy, to the surprise of no one, has come almost down to the other end to pass on some wit, wisdom.
He's not worried about cut-off point, is he? Because he's thinking of getting it over by 8:45, isn't he?
Pass on wit, wisdom, insight, knowledge, or something or other. But I've gone back to this end, and it's Pennington running in again, bowls to Josh Cobb, who drives with the hand off the bat. It goes up to mid-off, and they take a single. Smart bit of fielding, and a good throw from Ed Barnard. But Cobb was home. I think he probably would have been home anyway, if it hit the stumps. But goes through for a single, 10 to him. Much better over from Dylan Pennington. 1 ball to go, and he'll be looking to finish strongly. 58 for 1. So bearing in mind his first over went for 22. Just conceded 4 singles so far.
It shows real character, doesn't it? Because it's not like Levy's gone. He's still bowling at Levy. I know he's bowled a few balls at Josh Cobb, but that's his good character.
It is. Pennington in bowls to Levy, who tries to paddle that round the corner. It comes off his body or off his thigh pad, runs down towards the boundary. Good bit of fielding down there in front of the Ben Wilson indoor centre. So he must have got a little bit of, Charlie Morris got a little bit of glove on it, because it's not signalled by Rob White, I don't think. No, it isn't. 2 runs go to him, so at the end of that over, 6 gone. 60 for 1 off 5, with Levy on 40, Cobb on 10. I was just thinking, Frank, you were talking about Pat Brown, who was well known in this part of the world because he played cricket for Market Deeping in the Rutland League, and a number of Northamptonshire clubs play in the Rutland League on a Sunday, so almost one of ours. Yeah, that's right, almost one of ours.
Your knowledge of local cricket extends beyond the county ground.
Well, my own club, Andletown, they play in the Rutland League, so yeah, we did play Market Deeping.
Anyway, here is the aforementioned Pat Brown to start his second over. He had another happy first over. Bowls to Cobb, who pushes this up to mid-on. Running, takes a single. 61 for 1. Worcestershire were 57 off 5, so 60 off 5 for Northampton. Not hugely different. And it was probably, you'd say, from overs 14, 15 onwards that Worcestershire underachieved a little bit, having put down a really good base. round the wicket against Levy, tried to tuck him up, and just to stop him getting his arms away, but he just tipped it off his hands, and certainly there was a bit of subtlety there, and that runs away to wide leg. Very clever batting from Levy. When the bad ball, Graham went round the wicket, targeted the pad, but Levy just little leg glance on it, picked up another boundary.
Very delicate, wasn't it, compared to some of the other. Just showing that he doesn't always have to hit it out of the ground. That was just smart batting. He knew where the field was, and he's just using that angle that background's obviously creating.
Yeah, absolutely right, Trish. Here's Brown again round the wicket. Balls to Levy, and he pushes this one down on the onside. There's no run. And Andrew made the point very clearly in the Bob Willis Trophy game here that having come here really and become a white ball specialist, Levy was then given the chance to prove his worth in the longer game, and he proved very capable of playing completely different sorts of innings.
He made up a couple of long, sort of ugly hundreds in a situation that required somebody to get their head down and proved he could do it.
I think he's a fantastic creep, really exciting. It's Brown in bowls too, and that's short, and he smashes it away on that leg side. And that would have met with the approval of those who aren't in the West Stand. The West Stand, yeah, so it hammers into the boards down in front of them. Might have had a few of them diving for cover when he first hit it.
West Ham's given everybody jip from Gilbert Jessup onwards. They had a row with Gilbert Jessup in 1907. Nothing much has changed.
They haven't got a monopoly on that heading in the North. 48 to Levy, 69 for 1. Good batting from Richard Levy. Puts the bowler under pressure. Brown's gone back over the wicket. He bowls short, bounce up way over Levy's head, too short. Umpire Bailey says no ball. I don't blame him for trying it, but he just got it too short and it cleared Levy's head. It reminds me of a Simon Hughes comment this about how you must feel running up to bowl. Not always, probably. There's a few batsmen in the world who do it, but I remember Simon Hughes saying that when he bowled at Graham, I think it was like running up against a Sherman tank with a pea shooter. He said. I think that's probably how the Gloucestershire must feel at the moment. As Brown is in and bowls, and he beats Levy with a lack of pace. Clever bowling from Brown. I think it's the one that he just rolls his fingers across an off-cut, and it died as it went into the surface, and Levy was through the shot way before the ball had arrived, and it bounced again before it went through to Ben Cox. Clever bowling from Brown, and brave bowling, I think. You know, you've got to back yourself to try your skills in these situations.
It also makes you think, is it time to take the pace really off the ball? Because obviously they've deceived Levy and Cobb on a couple of occasions with slower balls.
End of the power play now as well. Here's Brown in again, bowls, and again he chucks Levy up. Good bowling from Brown at the end of that over.
Great end
Came back
over.
really well there, Pat Brown. And at the end of the power play, with 11 runs having come off that over, 71 for 1 is the Northamptonshire total. They require 179 to win. The man out is Sterling, who made 5 earlier. Worcestershire 178 for 6, with Rutherford top scoring for 62. I'd say Northampton's on top now. Trish.
You know, when they first came out, it was up to nearly 9 and over, really down to 7.7. You know, psychologically that helps, but a couple of wickets can completely change it.
Barnard into the attack. The Worcestershire captain running away from us from his pavilion end bowls to Cobb, who looks to drive, just jams down on it, doesn't time it, it runs out to the offside, and there's no run. That was Northamptonshire's most successful power play of the season, most productive one. Previous best was 66, 71 runs coming on the 6 overs tonight. There's Barnard in again, bowls to Cobb, who plays that nicely away through extra cover. He's going to pick up a couple of runs as Darryl Mitchell runs round, has to make up a lot of ground and fields. Sends in a good return on the run, and they come through for 2 easy runs, which takes Josh Cobb up to 13, and Northamptonshire to 73 for 1. So they need another 106 to win. And we're in the 7th over. Barnard in again, bowls to Cobb, who edges, and he's going to be caught, I think, and he's caught at backward point. It's a very good catch, because it barely carried. He drove at that, took a thick outside edge, it flew to Kelly Super Dylan Pennington on the edge of the circle. It's the short third man, and Cobb's
disappointing run with the bat continues. He's out for 13, and Northamptonshire in the 7th over are 73 for 2, Trish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, 73 for 1 off the power play, brilliant. But straight away we've lost a wicket. But we've still got batsmen. Here comes Ricardo, batsman fellas, I think. So, you know, he's maybe batting a little bit higher than we anticipated. But he can also, if he stays out there with Levy, could keep ticking away at that score. And hopefully keep the pressure down the rest of the order. But again, another wicket. We saw it in the Worcestershire innings, didn't we? They were cruising, a couple of quick wickets, completely put the pressure back on the batters, and they probably did achieve a little bit less than they probably would have hoped halfway through. And the pitch is playing pretty well. Doesn't seem to be doing anything like too much mispaving or anything like that. So hopefully if it stays, there's a little bit in there maybe for the spinners.
Yeah, Ricardo Vasconcelos coming back in to the side. He's a good 34 against theirs here, and then 25 off 23 balls against Glamorgan at Edgbaston. And discussing earlier, I must admit I like this move as far as Northamptonshire are concerned, bringing Vasconcelos back into the side. Just gives you a little bit of flexibility in the middle order, and he's facing his first ball with Barnard bowling round the wicket to him, left-hander of course. He just dabs that down to third man and picks up a comfortable single, so he's off the mark. Northamptonshire 74 for 2. I think with Vasconcelos he's we talk about the heavy hitters, the Levy, Sterling, Cobb, Rossington. Vasconcelos gives you something different. He's a calm individual, good player. As Barnard comes in and bowls to Levy, who tries to pull, bounces up off the pad, goes just behind square on the onside. Signal leg by umpire Rob White. We're on the total, 75 for 2. Really, we can tend to push it around, nudge and nurdle, play for Levy. So left-hander, of course, helps. So the bowler's having to just readjust to a left-right-hand partnership. As Barnard bowls around the wicket to Vasconcelos, who plays it up to mid-off, where Jack Haynes fields, and Richard Levy had come about a third of the way down the pitch before Vasconcelos sent him back. Got back easily enough in the end. As the players take a little break for their sanitisation, Levy is 48, Vasconcelos 175 for 2. Chasing 179, Northamptonshire having lost Paul Sterling for 5, Josh Cobb for 13. And the bowling figures so far, Charlie Morris having gone 2 overs, 1 for 21. Dylan Pennington, 2 overs, 0 for 28, which can only consider the first one 1 for 22. It's an impressive comeback. Pat Brown, 2 overs for 21. And now we are going to see some 12.
Yeah, Brett Dolivera coming on the school end, the football ground end, as I insist. Having been here many times when it was a football ground at that end. And he's going to be bowling to Richard Levy, who's right arm legs bowls first ball. Levy on the back foot, cracks it up to long off. Come back for 2, gonna have to hurry. Almost a run out there as Vasconcelos sent him back. Good piece of fielding from Jake Levy down there at long off.
It's all going on.
He round to his left. Throw back in, and Dolivera threw the stumps down. But Levy for the second time in as many deliveries back by Vasconcelos, scampering back in. 49 to him off 26 balls.
Odds on a run out.
Vasconcelos faces Dolivera, balls till he tries to cover, and this time they say just take one as Ross White comes off the boundary to do the fielding 77 for 2. I know it's a bit obvious, probably anybody listening, watching will say, yeah, that's real insight, but it is all about the, Dolivera's in, balls 2, and he's back again, cutting away on the offside. Fast lap delivery of bringing up his he got just 27 balls, taking the total up to 78 for 2. What I mean by that, if I say it's all about Levy, is if he bats for another 5 or 6 overs, I would say this game will be beyond Worcestershire. They need to get him out, but in order to do that, they have to just stay
known for the big hitting like Sterling and Levy and Rossington.
Barnard in, bowls start of a fresh over to Levy, who cuts, but doesn't manage to meet the man at backward point. That's a good bit of fielding.
So I think it allows him to build, and he's there as a supporting role for Levy. They've kept Levy a little bit quiet. I know he's only faced on 28 balls, but last couple of overs he's been a little bit quieter. But Ricardo can just get the ball, nudge it around.
Barnard in again, keeps standing up, bowls to Levy, who is caught. It's a super catch. He absolutely flayed that away off the back foot, and it flew to backward point, and is caught by Brett D'Oliveira. It really was travelling, and that's an excellent catch by Brett D'Oliveira to end Richard Levy's innings. Northamptonshire now with a little bit of regrouping to do, as Levy goes for 50, and Northamptonshire 82 for 3. Trishy called it. A couple of wickets can make all the difference.
It really can, and I think they have kept Levy a little bit quiet in the last few overs. You know, he was going well at 50 off 27, and all of a sudden, you know, he probably plays one too many shots. It was a good catch, you can't take away that from the fielder, but maybe one too many. Here comes Rossington and somebody else that likes to play shots.
Yeah, well, we talked about the plan A, which is Northamptonshire looking to rely quite heavily on their heavy hitters at the start of the innings. Well, say Levy, Sterling, Cobb, all gone now. So Rossington comes to the crease to join Ricardo Vasconcelos.
You can tell what Worcestershire thought by the way they celebrated.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They knew that it was a big wicket. It's a big wicket, so you've got to take your chance when it comes. Very to the best field.
Very, very good catch. That really was travelling. 82 for 3. So Northamptonshire needing another 97 to win. The 9th over. Two relatively new batsmen in. Rossington facing up to Ed Barnard, and Rossington's off the mark, just playing that calmly up towards the mid wicket, and picks up an easy single. So he's off the mark with 83 for 3. Sterling out for 5, Cobb for 13, Levy for 50 off 29 balls, 2 sixes and 7 fours. Out now, Barnard bowling round the wicket to Vasconcelos, who leads back, cuts that nicely out to cover point boundary, and they pick up another single. One more to Vasconcelos, who's 7, 84 for 3. Batsman to come. I think it's Wakeling, of course, I would imagine will be next in. Northampton's leading run scorer in this format of cricket. Barnard coming over the wicket to the right hand of Rossington, who wants to force that away off the back foot. Particularly good contact, runs out to Jack Hayne, 2 fields in the covers, and there's no run. And safe save, young left-hander who's been outstanding in the competition so far this season. Graham White also made some handy runs this year, and the 3 seamers Nathan Buck, Ben Sanderson and Brandon Glover. Barnard in again, bowls, and that's nicely driven out into the covers by Rossington. Goes out to the sweeper to the west stand, and he picks up another single. So good over from Ed Barnard, not only conceding just 3 runs but also picking up the very important wicket of Richard Levy, and with 9 overs gone, Northamptonshire 85 for 3, Rossington 2, Vasconcelos 7.
And Trish Worcestershire were 84 for 1, I think, at the same stage, so almost nothing in it score-wise.
No, but those 2 wickets could be key, although, you know, you've got, with the start that they've had, they don't need to go for the big shots, they just need to keep rotating the strikes, hopefully pick up the odd 2 instead of 1, and then a boundary, but also Worcestershire put on a little bit of pressure and get more wickets.
Darryl Mitchell from the ground end starts with wide outside the off stump to Rossington, who drives it through extra cover for 2, and the total goes to 87 for 3. Mitchell, the ultimate pace off the ball. Cutters just very gentle but very effective. This time a single for Rossington as he drives up to long off. 88 for 3. Rossington goes to 5. And yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? This I had a conversation with the presenter of the Tea Time show on BBC Urban Worcester before the game, and she sort of said, well, you know, Worcestershire can't qualify. There's not really much in it for them. I hope they enjoy it, kind of thing. Mitchell in again to Vasconcelos. He tucks him away on the leg side for a single. And I said, well, that's true, but it's all about experience, isn't it? Dylan Pennington bowling against Richard Levy, or Charlie Morris bowling against Levy and Sterling. You can only get that sort of experience in the game situation. That's what Morris has. Mitchell bowls to Rossington, plays back in the Mitchell Barnes. And so it's never a wasted game because there's always a chance, you might not be able to qualify, but these next 2 or 3 games for Worcestershire, people can experience things and partnerships can develop and bowlers can learn about different situations. Ed Barnard's captaincy can develop a bit more. He's new to that. Mitchell bowls to Rossington. It clips him away through mid-wicket for a single. Takes the total to 90 for 3. Rossington has 6. Vasconcelos has 8. You almost feel like the game's just relaxed a little bit.
It's taking a breath.
It's just teasing along for 2 or 3 overs perhaps. Vasconcelos heaves away on the leg side and is out. Caught in the deep by Pat Brown at deep mid-wicket. Bit of a loose shot. Just having said that we were going into that period, I would almost say on top of that, he didn't really consider that, did he?
No, not with, yes, the run rate had gone up slightly from where they'd got it down when Levy was going, but you've got plenty of time in the game. You can target a different bowler. It's not like we're a few overs from the end and we're needing sort of 15. But sometimes it's one of those, isn't it? When the ball's bowled at you that you think that you can hit away, sometimes you get caught. Oh, I shouldn't be playing this shot because of the situation of the game, and that's sometimes why you lose your wicket.
Yeah, I'm not intending to be overly critical, but I just felt, as I was saying, that the game was going through a period where they just needed to perhaps say, right, okay, let's just get 5 over for the next qualifying. I think see where we are, and then
I think what will frustrate Ricardo Vasconcelos there is the fact that that is exactly what he is not in the side to do. We talked about him giving a little bit of stability, a little bit of flexibility in the middle order, push it around, play for the more aggressive batsman at the other end. It was disappointing way for him to get out, I think. Well, we've got a fresh over starting. It's 90 for 4 off 10, so we're at the halfway stage, and it's going to be Ed Barnard bowling to the new batsman, Alex Wakely. He's having crossed while the ball's in the air. Wakely,
ideal man to come in.
well, absolutely, you would say so, certainly in the game against Glamorgan at Edgbaston, nominally a home match for Northamptonshire. Not a dissimilar situation, Wakely's experience on the Steelbacks too on that occasion. He does the same tonight as Barnard bowls to him. He's off the mark, plays that away, punch, very Wakely shot, punch away, just through backward point, and gets off the mark with a couple of runs. 2 to Wakely, 92 for 4. That's been out in this innings. 179 is the target. Sterling out for 5, Cobb for 13, Levy for 50 off 29 balls. And Vasconcelos, previous over, out for 8. As Barnard comes in again, bowls to Wakely, he just drives it out calmly. Sweeping on the cover boundary and picks up a single.
Swing that first ball tonight was moved in the air.
Perhaps the effect of
Humid, isn't it?
yeah, it is quite significant. If you look at it, billowing out. There's actually no breeze now. Very still. As Barnard bowls, and it's up in the air as Rossington looks to force that away the offside. These two bisect the 2 fielders, saving one in the ring and the covers, but between the 2 of them it was in the air. Picks up a single, 1 to Rossington, 7 to him. 94 for 4, and suddenly Northamptonshire cruising along quite nicely. A real struggle on their hands here as Barnard bowls to Wakely, forced onto the defensive, plays it out to Brett D'Oliveira. Backward point, and there's no run. D'Oliveira having taken that terrific catch. Terrific from the point of view that it was travelling, and terrific from the point of view that it was absolutely crucial to dismiss Richard Levy. Here's Wakely, Northampton's highest run scorer in this competition. He's going to get, no, he's not going to get another run there, but he was just going to clear out a backward point, but he just in the end bounced up nicely for him, so no run up the off that delivery. 3 to Wakely, 7 to Rossington. overs gone. Northamptonshire 94 for 4. The equation. So they need another 85 to win. Off 9. 6 wickets in hand. I reckon, Trish, anybody's match.
It is. I think if you said after the power play whose games it, I think you'd back Northampton because of the start that they had Levy going really well. That 5 overs I think completely changed it in the sense of Worcestershire are completely back into it and it could go either way. I think the next 5 overs could be crucial.
It's Darryl Mitchell bowling to Rossington. Sweet hits and stumps from Hamish Rutherford. And Worcestershire working finished. Quickly was run out there. So, we haven't got a TV replay. So we will never know how close that was. Tight, direct, was tight. Hamish Rutherford, he thought it was out, but they got a single, 95 Mitchell on that ball.
So I'm saying you always think direct hit time.
Mitchell bowls to Wakely, drives into mid-on, mid-wicket. Rather like shaped about 3 or 4 balls away in that last over, with a white ball in the 12th over. Quite unusual. Well, Northampton bowlers were hitting the pitch a bit more round, to be fair. Mitchell bowls again to Wakely, drives to cover no run. But quite unusual to see that. Do you remember how much he scored Andrew? Yes. Here comes Mitchell again. He bowls to Wakely, he drives off the back foot. Good shot through the gap of cover. He will only get one. So misfield, never run on the misfield. Nearly ran again. 67 back by Wakely. Ran on the misfield. This is back in time.
Jittery cricket for Northamptonshire at the moment, isn't it?
Just going back to Barnard, he's one of those guys that if he picked an apple up and chucked it across the room, it would swing. Yeah, he's just one of those. He just seems to have that knack of being able to make the ball swing. If he had a bit more pace, I think he would be really, really dangerous. Ben Cox may have dropped a bottom edge here. Rossington went for the swing. They could have been oohing and ahhing because it just missed the stumps. But then over. Mitchell in, rolls again. Rossington pulls this time out on the leg side and gets 4. That's really annoying for Darryl Mitchell. Last ball of the over, but a really good over. And Rossington just uses all that pressure with that boundary pulled away, bisecting the fielders at mid-wicket and square leg.
Wasn't that short either, was it?
100 off 12. No, it wasn't. It was. He was onto it quickly. Like a lot of good pullers, he's the length quite early.
Yeah.
100 off 12.
The short arm jab from Ryan Rossington takes him into double figures. 12 to him, 100 for 4. 79 runs needed. Off 8. It's Barnard keeper standing up. Bowls to Alex Wakely, who's beaten outside the off stump. Give himself a little bit of room. Chop it down through back point. You've got 2 fielders back with the sort of point, one just behind square, and the other going finer. Adam Rossington going down and having a chat with Alex Wakely, Northamptonshire's present Red Bull captain, Rossington, and his predecessor Alex Wakely, who's lifted this T20 trophy twice, 2013, 2016. Comes in and bowls to it, he drives that nicely up towards extra cover, good timing. We think about a second again, and there wasn't a second there. Quite sure what Adam Rossington was thinking. That seems to wake Alex Wakely up. There's only ever a single. 1 to Wakely, 5 to him, 101 for 4.
It's good to see them running that first one hard and putting the pressure. We saw it with Northampton a couple of times on midfield and they got through for the second.
It's Barnard in again, bowling to Adam Rossington, who drives up to long on. And the fielder comes in off the boundary, which is Hamish Rutherford, and there's a single to Rossington. Yeah, I agree, Trish, but I think there's always a danger that they're going to come down. But that was only ever 1,
Yeah.
and they're sort of thinking about coming down to 2, and if he slips,
Yeah.
it's due on the ground in the evening, and he suddenly lost another wicket. Barnard in again, bowls Wakely. Again, jams down hard and then plays it out towards the England wicket. They think about 2, but there's only ever 1 again.
Or a hamstring goes.
Or a hamstring, yeah. It's just this stage of the year again, always possible. 6 to Wakely, 103 for 4. 76 more runs needed. And Rossington facing on 13. comes in, bowls to him, and he's going to pick up one more run as he plays it up towards, once again, Rutherford. He has to come in quite a long way off the long on boundary, and they pick up a single easily enough. One more to Rossington, 14 to him, 104 for 4. One more to go in the 13th over. The asking break now up over 10. Barnard comes in again, bowls to Wakely. He's going to pick up a single as he plays that one into the covers. Mutual consent single, so Wakely goes up to 7 at the end of the over. Rossington 14. 13 overs gone. Northamptonshire 105 for 4. They need 74 more runs to win. 6 wickets in hand. And Trish, that asking rate is gone up to what, 10.6.
And straight away, I think the pressure just goes onto the batters there. With as soon as you get over 10, you need a couple of boundaries. They wait, 7, this one boundary, and then
Lost 4 overs, 5, 4, 6, 5.
yeah. So it's only going to continue to grow unless they can release that pressure a little bit.
Attack, bowls and bowls. Wakely going for a reverse sweep, missed it, and it's hit middle stump by the look of it. And Northamptonshire played a bit of a mess of this, if I may say so. They're up now 105 for 5, and I say that not critically really, but just looking at where they were. They were in such a good position, and at that point, I was just sort of, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but suggesting that they just needed to just calm things down, just sort of tick along for a few overs. They've lost that wicket. It seemed so manic running between the wickets in the last 10 minutes or so, and now they've lost Wakely playing a reverse sweep to the first ball of the over, and it just seems a little bit Keystone Company at the moment. 105 for 5.
Absolutely, at the moment they're batting like a side that's a little bit short of confidence, which when you consider they won 4 in a row, but they've lost the last 2. Disappointing defeat at Cardiff, and I think confidence in the side has just been knocked back a bit. And that's reflecting in the way they're playing at the moment. As you say, it's jittery, anxious, nervous cricket.
Talavera into the new batsman, saves Dave, bowls, and Dave gives himself room and heaves away on the leg side and gets a single, bounces only about 5 or 6 yards short of the feather out there, Pat Brown. And he gets off the mark and he gets off the strike. Gives the strike to Rossington, who's a bit of responsibility on his shoulders now. He's on 14, he's faced 13 deliveries. He likes to get on with it. The field is well spread. Talavera comes in again now and bowls beautifully, I think. And he just drives it back up the pitch on the kiss inside edge. 106 for 5. Talavera in once more from the foreground, then bowls quicker, flatter. Rossington goes back, slams that away on the leg side, but he'll only get a single as Ross Whiteley comes off the boundary. At deep mid-wicket, didn't pick it up cleanly, not surprising really, travelling, but sort of knocked it forward in front of him and therefore was able to pick it up the second time and still save the 2. 107 for 5. Zabe on strike again, Talavera 2. Zabe gives himself room and cuts on the offside, step back outside leg stump before the bowler bowled. Cut the ball away off the stumps, picked up a single out to Whiteley at deep cover.
It was a young man's stroke, wasn't it, Frank?
Yeah, I think the ship was Talavera to Rossington, who does the same. And Talavera fires that outside off stump and he's pleased with himself, but then he's not happy as Rob Bailey calls it. That must have been so close on that blue line. I thought he was a bit hard done to there, but I would. 109 for 5. He's in again. He bowled. Rossington does it again. And he cuts, but this time straight to the middle. So no great damage done. Another good over from a Worcestershire point of view. Northants off 14 overs now. 109 for 5. Requiring 179 for victory. And Worcestershire have come back well after that mauling they got from Levy at the start.
70 needed now off 6 overs. Northamptonshire are going to need at least a couple of big overs. We're talking about boundaries. The boundaries have pretty much dried up. Apart from that one for Adam Rossington a couple of overs ago. And Dylan Pennington comes back into the attack. It's ball to the left-handed safe Zabe, and that's a good ball from Pennington that bounced on Zabe. He just runs it down. Sort of voluntary. I got to get coming fully. Just sort of put a bat on it, but no, says umpire Rob Wipes to come off his arm guard,
I think he's just looked at his arm underneath his shirt, so
I think he's just wondering where that came from. Pennington, but he gets 2 on the total anyway. 2 leg buys, 111 for 5. Again. To Zabe, looks to cut. Doesn't make contact. Northampton checking at the run rate required, which is now pushing up towards 12 and over, 11.8 at the moment. 111 for 5, the target, 179. And as we were saying, Northamptonshire in a very good position. Now, decidedly second favourites as Pennington comes in. Balls to Zabe, who edges, he's going to get 4. Well, as we always say, it doesn't matter how they come in this sort of cricket. I think he was looking to just run that down. Whether he was looking to get it quite as fine as that, I'm not sure. But he picks up a boundary. It goes up to 115 for 5 total, and Zabe up to 6. It's a big one, Derek Craig. Doesn't ring a bell instantly. Very unhappy at the moment. Is he really? Well, he's not a big fan of Alec Waitley. You must tell me in a minute what Derek has said. Pennington in again, bowls to Zabe, who's looking to pull that over mid-wicket, doesn't make contact, goes over the top of the stumps. And Rossington just coming down and having a word with the young man. This has been an excellent comeback from Dylan Pennington when you consider his first over went for 22, his second for 6. He's conceded just 4 of that one down to third man. 2 balls to go in this over. Pennington bowls to Zabe, who again tries to swing up. It's a no ball. Oh dear, well, that's not to please his captain. No ball signalled by umpire Rob White and a free hit. So, commentator's curse strikes again, just what I'm saying. Dylan Pennington's bowling really go over. His bowls a no ball. Well, these things happen. Now, where's Zabe going to target this, Trish, do you reckon? No, deep square, yeah, come right across his stumps, and that's gone down wide. Now that again, the bowler's going to feel a bit aggrieved because, as I said, he came a long way across. It was actually, when the ball was bowled, he was in front of all 3. He bowls a short ball, which Zabe tries to pull.
That was outside the blue line, I think, very.
Yeah, he doesn't make contact, and it's called a wide, 118 for 5. Pennington in again, bowls to Zabe, and works that away nicely down towards fine leg. That's a good shot. He's only going to get 1 for it. It's well fielded in front of the indoor school. With hope for better, but he picks up a run, 119 for 5. So 10 on the score by a variety of means in this over.
So it's a batter's game, Trish. Even more so we get
no balls, wides, edges, all sorts.
I mean, I'm a little bit straighter than where you guys are. I can see leg stump.
Yeah.
And it was only if he stood where he normally stands would be, that would not have been a wide.
It's an interesting call. Anyway, 119 for 5. Pennington's finished the over. Bowls to Rossington, who clubs that down the ground and picks up a single as it goes down to Barnard coming in off the long-on boundary. So single to Rossington, and he pitches the bowling as well. 16 to hit, 7 to Zabe. At the end of the over, Northamptonshire are 120 for 5. So 11 runs coming off the over, and the equation now 59 needed, 5 overs to go. Still just a touch under 12 and over, Trish.
Yeah, that again, it's that. Yes, it's still two bounces in it with 2 6s, but 3 4s. It puts the pressure right on the batters.
Darryl Mitchell to continue from the ground end during the Sabres. Let's see if I can tell you what Derek did.
Yes.
Mitchell bowls and Rossington gets a single up to long on. They won't come back to 2. I think it might be. It's at DE
Krager, K-R-A-G-E-R. It could be Deck Rager, I think. Judging by his tweets. He doesn't think Whitney should be in the side. Cobb, the boundaries are too big. All sorts of things. There's Mitchell bowls, and there's a big share for LBW as Save tries a reverse swing. Leg by signalled. I think it was one of those distraction appeals there. He was trying to put the batsman off running because it was missing the stumps. Single taken. It's not that bad, Derek. For goodness sake. We're bottom of the group. Worcestershire. I say we, shouldn't say we. Worcestershire are bottom of the group. Here's Mitchell. He bowls to Rossington, who swings this away. He sweeps it from outside off stump out to deep mid wicket. Ross Whiteley is left field.
I suspect they're just get a single. Sorry, Frank. I suspect the frustration might be as Northamptonshire supporters the fact that Northamptonshire really targeted white ball cricket in this particular competition this season as their main priority.
Mitchell is in again and bowls to Zaid, who cuts and gets one, might get two, probably will get two actually. Same as one of the big chases. He beat the diving Charlie Morris at backward point. Ones and twos. Damaging Worcestershire too much at the moment. I'm very happy that they've restricted the boundaries. 125 for 5 in the 16th. Mitchell round the wicket to the left-handed Zaid. Tucks this away on the leg side and picks up another single. 126 for 5. One ball left in the 16th. This is it, isn't it? Mitchell, last over, last ball. We bowled a really good over, and last ball, Rossington took him for a boundary. I think we'd be desperate for that not to happen on this occasion. Comes in and bowls. Rossington drives, and he won't get a boundary. He'll only get a single down to long off where Jake Libby is a fielder. That's a pretty good over from Darryl Mitchell in the circumstances. And at the end of it, 7 runs coming from it, 16 overs gone, and still backs are 127 for 5, which means that they need 52 off the last 4 overs.
Yeah, there's a lot of runs. Only 5 wickets in hand. Batsmen to come. White, Buck, Sanderson and Glover. So Graham White's been having a decent tournament.
Derek says he's raging.
Oh dear, well, fair enough. Charlie Morris back into the attack. Bowls to Adam Rossington. It makes an enormous blow over mid-wicket. Doesn't make contact. The bowl's running back to their marks. They get a cut-off time, 9:19. Should be okay. 4 minutes past 9 by our clock here. So we should be alright. Doesn't do so. Take it down to the wire. Morris comes in again. Bowls to Rossington, and he's got hold of that, and that's 6. That's gone over mid-wicket. That's the boundary that Northamptonshire needed. They need a few more of them. And that's also managed to find its way just to the other side of the old scoreboard building, which is now where the ground staff keep their equipment. And I suspect when the ball comes back, it'll be covered in oil, whitewash, grass cuttings, and any other foreign matter that you may care to name. It's been thrown along the ground to Charlie Morris. Doesn't seem too upset with it, but 133 for 5. Rossington up to 25. And Morrison again, rolls to him full length. Rossington drives, the call is 2. They've gone for those the first, they're going to come back for the second save, of course, very quick. Rossington marginally less quick than Zaid, but still, despite the fact he was charging down to the keeper's end, which obviously was where they were going to be throwing. Picks up 2 more runs, 27 to him, 135 for 5. So 8 runs have come off the first 3 balls of this over. So Morris comes in again, bowls to Rossington, who drives. Once again, it's going up towards deep wicket. Can he go get a single this time? Goes straight to the man fielding in front of the scoreboard. And 1 more to the total, 1 more to Adam Rossington, who is 28, 136 for 5. 43 more runs needed. And there are 20 balls remaining. So score the asking rate just about 12 and over. Just a bit from that, in fact, as Morris comes around the wicket to the left-handed save, cracks that away to extra cover for 4. That's a super shot. He just set himself, waited for it. Slower ball, I think, from Charlie Morris, and
Zabe was onto it in a flash, and that's given Northamptonshire a very timely little boost. This is turning into a decent over. It is 13 off the over so far, 140 for 5, 39 runs needed. Crucial delivery. Northamptonshire can get a boundary off this. Morrison again, round the wicket, bowls to Zabe. They're not going to get a boundary, they're going to get a single. He goes out to deep cover. Fielder comes in off the boundary, sends in return on the bounce to Ben Cox. But that's a better over for Northamptonshire. They got the runs they required off it, 14 to be precise, 141 for 5. Rossington 28, Zabe 15, 38 runs needed, 3 overs to go. Where's your money, Trish?
Oh, that's a hard one. Obviously, that's helped massively, that over. And with it only being 3 overs, you would probably still put your money on the batting side. But a good over here, they always sort of say, don't they, it's the 18th and 19th over that's the key one. So obviously I think they're bringing Pat Brown back on to vary the pace.
He'll bowl 18 and 20.
Yeah.
That's the plan. He comes around the wicket now, bowls, and Zabe gets a run. Again, that one he just took the pace off it. Zabe went back to cut it, didn't really have much pace on it. He didn't time it that well, just squeezed it out through the covers for a single. 141, 142 for 5. Key man's Rossington though, isn't he? Yes, Zabe can obviously score quickly, but Rossington is the man who can clear the ropes. And you'll probably need to do that once or twice if you're going to get these runs. Good test for Brown. This is what T20 cricket's all about. In he comes from the football ground down past umpire Lady Bowles. Rossington gives himself room, slaps this away on the leg side. They've taken one, when they come back for 2, they will come back for 2. There's a low, well fielded down there. There was a slip, it's getting quite dewy. Ed Barnell with the man down there. Key man tends to field in the most important position. Barnard and Wiley, the 2 best fielders, long on and deep mid wicket. 144 for 5. Rossington with that 2 goes up to 30. Brown to ball to the right hander. He's in now. He bowls. Rossington repeats the shot, the previous delivery, but gets it better this time. Whacks it between those 2 fielders. Quite moving to his left, Barnard to his right. Neither could get anywhere near it. Raced away. And Rossington stepping up when required. 148 for 5 now. Halfway through the 18th over. Another 31 needed. What will Pat Brown's response be? Take the pace off, I should think. Comes in now, bowls. He does take the pace off, but Rossington repeats the same shot previous 2 or 3 deliveries. This time, really good if fielding by Barnard, but they get 2. He hit 3 consecutive balls down there in the last over. He hit 3 consecutive balls that way in that over. Would you be tempted to take one of your offside fielders out and put him over at deep mid wicket? I would.
Yeah, I would, especially because you've got 4 out on the boundary. Realistically, it's 2. Unless he absolutely creams it straight to them. It's 2 every time, isn't it? And then you threaded it through for a 4.
150 for 5. Brown is in again to Rossington, and this time he does beat him. A clever ball, slower ball, and it hurt him. I think it hit him inside the thigh maybe as he tried to pull it away, maybe even right in the box. He's certainly winded, and as a result he sent Zabe back. Zabe scampered back as Ben Cox picked the ball up and threw it the non-strike thing.
He took a job Zabe's because he'd come a good halfway down.
He might have been out if he didn't anyway. Rossington would have, that might just take the wind out of his sails a little bit. It's very uncomfortable when that happens. Got to try and clear his mind. Good bit of bowling from Brown. 1 ball left in this over. Not want to concede a boundary. He bowls. Rossington gives himself room, and he does get a boundary down to the 3rd man. Totally unintentional. Big swing at it, edged past the keeper down to 3rd man. Hands on hit from Pat Brown. Very, very disappointed with that over. Game very much on. 150 for 5 off 18. 25 needed off the last 2. Trish, still even Stevens, or are you on the back?
Yeah, I think you would always say that with it being 5 down, you've got a batter in. You would still back the batting side.
Well, it's going to be Charlie Morris who's going to bowl the 19th over. Northamptonshire having taken 14 runs off the 17th over and 13 runs off the 18th over, so 27 off the last two. The asking rate is now, 12 and a half and over. 12 balls remaining, 25 runs needed. Morris coming round the wicket to bowl to the left-handed save, who carves that one away over backward point, and he's going to get 4 runs, I think. Yes, he is. Crosses the boundary rope in front of the groundsman's tractor. Loads of applause from the Northamptonshire players and support staff sitting down to our left. So boundary to start the over, which is always handy. 158 for 5. Zaeb back in the side. Once again making his presence felt as he has throughout the competition. He's up to 20, 158 for 5, 21 needed, and 11 balls remaining. As Morris bowls again to Zaeb, who hits that one again over extra cover. That's heading towards the boundary, and that's another boundary. That's 4 more. Rattles into the ropes in front of the old scoreboard. And Zaeb has started the over 4-4, 162 for 5. 17 runs needed off 10. And all of a sudden, Northamptonshire possibly feeling a little bit happier about this. There's been consultation between Ed Narlow and Charlie Morris. Yeah, they probably do need a wicket. He's got a man down on the cover boundary, 3 guarding the boundary on the leg side. And to bowl short is probably a good option. And Zaeb looking to pull, doesn't make contact. So he was looking to pull, or looking to uppercut. It was an indeterminate stroke. But it was fair enough, just trying to get something on it, I think was the point, as it was a short ball. Rossington comes down as a chat with him. Just needs to think about this now. 17 runs needed, 9 balls remaining. Morris bowling round the wicket to save. It comes across his stumps. That's not straight up in the air. He's going to be caught and bowled by the bowler. Yes, he is. He's caught by Charlie Morris. Zaeb smashes his pads with his bat in frustration. He's gone, and Northamptonshire saying about Worcestershire needing to pick up a wicket. That's exactly what they've done. And it's Zaeb out. The only good thing from Northamptonshire point of view is that Adam Rossington is still there. But Zaeb goes caught and bowled by Charlie Morris for 24 off 18 balls, and Northamptonshire 162 for 6, which means there are 8 balls to go, and they need 17 to win. Warm applause for Zaeb as he comes off, and Graham White is coming in to take his place at number 8. Yeah, well, it's brought Northamptonshire back into contention. Whether it's enough to earn them the victory remains to be seen.
Just looking at the normal thing is in the context of this game, we're going to get about 350 runs. Ed Narlow, 4 overs and 2 meters,
2 for 15. That's quality. Darryl Mitchell as well, 3 overs, 1 for 17. Very tidy. So, Adam Rossington, batsman managing to cross while the ball was in the air. 2 balls left in this over, 17 needed to win, 162 for 6. And Charlie Morris comes in, bowls to Rossington, full toss, who blasts that up to mid-off, and he doesn't get a run as it's fielded by Darryl Mitchell. Again, Rossington just having a little look at the umpires. Yeah, but absolutely no way that was worth wasting, I don't think. So, 17 needed, just 7 balls remaining now. And as he called it, Frank, the wicket, potentially absolutely crucial. Here's Morrison again, running away from us. Bowls to Rossington, and it's gone wide. It's a good ball. He just got in his own way a little bit, finished up getting an inside edge. Gets the single, which is what he would have hoped for. He would have hoped perhaps for something a bit more on the last ball. But the equation now, very simple. 163 for 6. Rossington is 41. Graham White yet to get off the mark. We have 1 over to go, and Northamptonshire needs 16 runs off it to win.
I don't know about you, Trish, but if I was sat in this field, I'd have 3 men out there now on that leg side for Rossington.
Yeah, I would.
Middle, long on, deep cow, and deep mid wicket.
Yeah, because what you've got to think, 16 required 6 twos is not going to be enough. You've got to protect that boundary. That's where Pat Brown's going to. Yeah, that's where he's been hit, and where Rossington's got most of his runs.
Yeah. Do you need? It's difficult. It's easy for us. Oh, it's
game, isn't it?
Well, they've sacrificed one of the others. I suppose you can't put the final over, it would have to be the man on the cover, and he might go inside.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pat Brown, he bought the last over at Taunton last week when they needed 30. He managed it. Starts with a big one. Rossington's hit that up in the air, and he is dropped. Dropped at cover by Hamish Rutherford. And I'm always a little bit, a little bit slow to criticise when it's gone above the lights. I think it's very, very difficult from what I've heard when a white ball goes above the lights and then comes back down through the lights. He got underneath it. He never looked really confident, did he? But he dropped it. But it was only a single, which is crucial. 164 for 6. 5 balls left. Brown comes into bowl to white. He bowls. And again, that's a clever piece of bowling. Took the pace off it. Dropped it in short. And white could only flat back it up to mid-off or a single. So 2 off the first 2 balls. And 14 needed off 4 balls now. Charlie Morris's 4 overs. Yielded 2 for 44. But Ed Barnard, the pick of the bowlers, 2 for 15. Darryl Mitchell, 3 overs for 17. But Pat Brown entrusted with the responsibility again of bowling this last over. And he comes in now to bowl to Rossington. Bowls and Rossington heaves that straight down the ground. Ed Barnard running round from mid-on. He will field it. And they only get 2. So 167, 6, 12 needed off 3 balls.
Keep your foot behind the line.
Keep your foot behind the line, don't go down the leg side, keep your head. It's been a good game for T20 cricket. This has been a cracking game. It's ebbed and flowed, hasn't it? Both innings have had their great starts. Pat Brown from the football ground end. 3 balls left, comes in now, past umpire Bailey. Rossington goes across his stumps, heaves him away on the left side, but he's only going to get 2. In fact, he's run out. He's run out going back for the second. Good bit of work by Charlie Morris at the right leg, and an even better bit of work by Ben Cox, who, as keepers do these days, came and ran to the stumps table and then flicked it back without looking. And Rossington is run out. Probably more important is the fact that they only got 1 run off that. So
that's a really smart bit of cricket, isn't it? By Worcestershire, by Ben Cox in particular.
Yeah. And Rossington is run out 4 to 5 in 1 for that penalty. So that's 167 for 6. So 3 balls left, 2 balls left. 2 balls left.
Yeah, the board hasn't quite caught up yet. I think that's 168 to 7, I think now. Yeah, that's it.
168 to 7.
11 needed, 2 balls
left, 11 needed. So Brown has nearly done the trick. I won't say he's done the trick, he could still get over 2 boundaries, but he's done well. Nathan Buck is a new batsman. Happy Hacker, yes, he called himself. And we were here in the ball with his trophy, and he is quite capable of clearing the ropes, but it's a big ask when you come in to do it straight away. Here comes Brown into bowls, and it's going to be a win for Worcestershire because he's only got a single off that. And Pat Brown, for the second game on the trot, has done the business for Worcestershire at the back end with the ball. Didn't start so well in his first spell, but kept his head really well here. And Worcestershire are going to pick up the win, which looked unlikely 10 minutes ago, but then looked likely probably half an hour ago. So that's the nature of the game it's been. Here's Brown, last ball of the innings. Bowls, heaved away on the leg side, and caught, no dropped by Ross Whiteley at deep mid-wicket. It doesn't matter. Sky got right underneath it all the time in the world, but he dropped it. He'd be a bit annoyed with himself, but at the end of the day, it's a win for Worcestershire as Northamptonshire finish on 177, and Worcestershire are the winners by 8 runs. And outstanding bowling from Ed Barnard in particular, 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 15. But Pat Brown holding his nerve to finish with 1 for 41, I think, on 4 overs. And it's all about that
demonstration by both sides. I think in the end, you look back at Northamptonshire, I'm sure when they come to do the debrief, they'll be looking at the state of the game, 73 for 1 in the 6 and a bit overs, and then the best power play they've had this season, 71 runs, losing just the 1 wicket. And then, as has been the case in the last game or two, wickets have fallen in clusters. Cobb out 13, as Trish was saying, is just a little bit shorter runs in this format at the moment. Aston Salos going in and not really doing the job that Northamptonshire were hoping he would do on this occasion. He missed out. Rossington, in the end, just left with a little bit too much to do. Some smart cricket by Worcestershire at the end. Terrific bit of death bowling by Pat Brown. Not for the first time, doubtless not for the last. That's the sort of cricket that's earned him an England, white ball recognition. Why they're looking at him as an international bowler in white ball cricket. And he did the job for Worcestershire and for Northamptonshire, having won 4 in a row. They've now lost 3 in a row, and there's no margin for error now. They've really got to win the last 2 games against Somerset and Taunton on Friday night, and then against the Birmingham Bears and Edgbaston on Sunday. You would think if they're going to have any chance of really making the quarterfinals. I think for a long time we've been saying, well, they're obviously going to qualify. It's just a question of getting a home quarterfinal. Well, now suddenly, off the back of 3 defeats, they've still got some work to do, I think, Trish.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, isn't it? Because they played some really good cricket at the beginning, got those 4 wins, and now the pressure's all on them. And in a way, tonight the pressure was on them. Worcestershire, they haven't had the best season. They came into this with no pressure on them. They were just coming in, like Frank said, giving some of the other players a bit of time in the middle or getting some overs under their belt. And there wasn't a massive difference between the teams. You can't say there was one standout player that won it for them. I think Worcestershire just seemed to not let the pressure get to them. They, if Levy got away from them, they thought it's fine. We can get him out, put the pressure back on. And I think that's the real difference. Was they just handled the pressure a lot better than Northampton did, and hopefully Northampton can change that in the last 2 games and get the wins that they need. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a deflated ball season.
Yeah, Northampton just had that little jittery phase, didn't they? Which we were talking about, Frank, in the about sort of the 15th, 16th, 17th overs when they just seemed to lose their heads a little bit and doing all sorts of rather peculiar options, and in the end costing them dearly, I think.
Yeah, that's true, and it wasn't as if they were rookie players that were out there at the time either. It was a strange thing, but pressure does funny things to you, and off the back of a previous defeat, which was a really poor one, they maybe were just a little bit edgy, and you can understand it. But it was a surprise to me that little period. That I genuinely think that in the cold analysis of this game, in both innings actually, overs from sort of 12 to 16 were probably the ones where neither side performed to their very best. But it was a good game of cricket.
Cracking game of cricket, and congratulations to Worcestershire, who win this match by 8 runs, and both counties move on. I say Northamptonshire to Taunton on Friday night. Where are you up next up, Frank?
Edgbaston against the Bears,
which is where we are on Sunday. Well, I very much hope wherever you've been listening, on BBC Radio Northampton, on BBC Hereford Worcester, online, of course, BBC Online, on the stream, the live stream, or on, of course, BBC coverage of this match this evening. From me, Andrew Radd, from Frank Watson, from Trish Hankins, many thanks for your company, and we'll see you again next time, and we'll